All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. April 5th, 2021, and I was wrong, and I'm sure the haters are rejoicing. It's been a while since they've had a chance to hate like this. But of course, I was more on Gonzaga tonight. To my credit, I did tell my people yesterday on Patreon, I said if you stand to win big from Gonzaga, you might want to think about hedging with Baylor, because like we talked about, Baylor equals 28, Gonzaga equals 28. Baylor could pick up the 28th win, which they did, and 28 is a perfect number, and we're going to talk more about that because this whole ritual was about perfect. Baylor stopped Gonzaga from the perfect season in Indiana, who was the last team to do it 45 years ago on 4-5. So in a way, it's a victory for the state of Indiana. You know, they still have that honor, the last perfect team. It's preserved for at least one more year. So, but again, what I want people to understand, and like I said earlier in the video I put out, I said I could end up being wrong about Gonzaga. I saw the Baylor 28 thing, and I was really hoping that wasn't going to happen, and I was thinking, I still think this is better for Gonzaga, but obviously that's not the way it was. But again, what did we talk about? Elgin Baylor dying at 86, what happened on the 86th day after that, 86th day of the year after that game. And now Baylor wins with 86 after Elgin Baylor died at age 86 during the tournament, and what we know what this number means. And look at this, you guys. Look at this. Look how many shots. Look at how many shots Baylor took. And realize the score was 86-67 before Gonzaga hit a three at the end. So the score was 86-67, and Baylor took exactly 67 shots. And again, if you're new here, I always teach about the relevance of these numbers and how they come together in ritual sacrifice. If you're new here, Gematria, very simple practice of coding numbers into words based on the alphabetic order, forwards and backwards. If you write out human sacrifice, it's 67 and 86. And if you write out blood sacrifice, it's 67 and 86. And we were talking about these numbers with the death of Kobe Bryant. And again, if you doubt that, here I have a book. You know, my channels have been taken down, but what I wrote about in my book with Kobe Bryant's death in 67 and 86 and human sacrifice and blood sacrifice. Now here it is with Elgin Baylor, another Laker. A little more than a year later, it was January 26, 2020 for Kobe. It was March 22nd, 2021 for Elgin Baylor. Obviously got to live a lot longer than Kobe. But again, both human sacrifice and blood sacrifice equals 67 and 86. Baylor wins with 86 points on 67 shots, where at the end of the game, the score is 67-86, and we're talking about right after the death of Elgin Baylor. Now, something else that made me laugh is the star player for Butler tonight, or I want to say Butler tonight, the star player for Baylor tonight was Jared Butler, and remember, Butler is in Indianapolis, where the championship was played. And don't forget, earlier this year, December 5th, Gonzaga and Baylor were supposed to play in Indiana, but the game was canceled due to COVID. So Gonzaga and Baylor were going to play at a neutral site in Indiana. The game canceled. It ends up being the championship. But I just realized something about that too. Here, okay. Again, if you guys are new here, in both my books, I teach the base 4 ciphers. It's the alphabetic order forwards and backwards, and the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology. When you just use the alphabetic order, A is 1 up to Z is 26, blood sacrifice is 121, and from the day that that game was canceled to the day that Baylor's now won the championship is 121 days later, or a span of 122. And again, you can look this up. They were supposed to play each other December 5th, 2020 in Indiana at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, where the Pacers play. And you can see from that day to this day, 121 days, and we get this huge blood sacrifice ritual with Elgin Baylor. And yeah, it's just and for anyone out there saying, well, why didn't that make you pick Baylor over Gonzaga? I mean, it made me think about it, but if you pay attention to this stuff year after year, just because people die for your team, a lot of times you'll end up in the championship game, but that doesn't always mean you win the championship. And we've talked about this many times over the years. But I do find it funny that Butler, where the coach of Baylor went to college, he went to Butler, which is in Indianapolis, where they just won the championship. And he goes 6 of 14, 4 of 9 from three-point land with 22 points, that big basketball number. And remember, when I first started decoding tournaments, I didn't use reverse gematria. I just used the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. And we'd always be pointing out the first March Madness in 85, how many rituals there are with 85 and 22 in basketball. And tonight, Butler, the star player, with 82. And remember, in that most pure cipher where basketball's 82, notice Butler University is, whoops, I spelled something wrong. Or it's because I wrote Butler. I meant to write Baylor. Baylor University is 82 in the most pure cipher. Elgin Baylor went to Seattle University, the Jesuit school like Gonzaga, which are both in Washington State. But he went to Baylor University, 82, and this was the 82nd tournament. And again, Elgin Baylor played at Seattle University, a Jesuit school. Seattle, 82. And then Baylor wins the 82nd season, defeating the other Washington Jesuit school. There's 27 Jesuit universities in the nation, and again, 2 of them are in Washington State. And again, my reason for understanding that is that's why we know the reverse ciphers are important. The word Jesuit's 42, and Washington's the 42nd state in order of statehood. And you got 2 of the 27 Jesuit universities here in Washington. So, and this is what I'm talking about with the Manchurian candidates and the Manchurian athletes. The 22, in the big basketball ritual, again, when the coach went to Butler, and that's in Indianapolis, and the star player at the time is Baylor wins their first championship. His name's Butler. It's just like, come on, man. And then their point guard's number 45, and there's this big ritual on 4-5. But also, what I wanted to show you is Butler Bulldogs, the name of the university there in Indianapolis. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse of the rules of numerology, they're also 82. Coach was a Butler Bulldog. Now he's at Baylor University, 82nd tournament. They win it. What's the reflection of 82, 28? The other thing that's interesting about 28 is a perfect number, which we'll talk more about in a second. And 28 is the 7th triangular number. That means if you add 1 through 7 together, it equals 28. If you add 1 through 7 together, it's 28. And this year, Texas set a record by having 7 teams in the tournament. There's been a lot of 7s. The Dodgers won their 7th World Series. And remember, that World Series was played in Texas, like Baylor's in Texas because of COVID. And then Nick Saban won his 7th championship, and Brady won his 7th ring. And now, in the year that 7 Texas teams make the tournament, Baylor wins the championship. Also, shout out to Big Al. Early in the game, he sent me a text message of a stat they put up on the screen, and it showed that this could be this is the 5th time that in the era of the tournament, again, this was the 82nd tournament, the teams that were ranked number 1 and number 2 in the country, this was only the 5th time they both met in the championship, the top 2 teams, so 5 out of 82. But in every meeting of 1 versus 2, the 2 had always won. So that trend continued. It's now 5 for 5, if I'm not mistaken. And, it's just funny. If you watch my video from earlier today, I made a big point about the significance of 47, and then Baylor was up 47-37 at the half. And to me, I wasn't sweating it, honestly, for Gonzaga. I was thinking, okay, that's normally what they do. Perfect's 37. Mark Few can pick up his 37th win. But obviously that didn't happen. Baylor puts up 39 in the second half, the city on the 39th parallel, Indianapolis. But again, just at the end, so the silver lining of this game for me, and again, apologies to everyone who lost. I hope you did well overall with the tournament. I mean, it definitely wasn't my best tournament. It was my worst work in a long time, and that's what happens when you don't watch a single game during the college basketball season, so apologies. But still, we had at least Gonzaga to be in the championship since before the season began, and that did happen, but they did not win it. But again, I mean, even though for me it was mediocre, I know a lot of people out there are still supporting, and they still won, came out ahead, and a lot of people said this is the best I've ever done at March Madness, but still for me it was very mediocre. And so anyway, the haters can enjoy it tonight. And it just reminds me, though, that Gonzaga, they always come up just shy of what their expectations are. They've been notorious for about 20 years now, in the time that they've been known as kind of a good basketball squad out west. But I mean, they were expected to win the championship, and they came up I mean, it wasn't even a good game, right? I mean, they were down 10 at the half, and I don't think they made it any closer in the second half. But just kind of just like a ugly ugly game. Nobody really brought it. Timmy in foul trouble. I didn't see any of the first half. I just saw the score at halftime. I said, 37 at the half. Okay. Could be the sign, but no. But that's what kills me. So for those who follow us throughout the year, about midway through the regular season, I said, you know what? I think they might do a perfect season with Gonzaga this year. So I had to ride it out to the finish line. But what's funny is they did do the perfect ritual. Baylor wins the 28th game. And for people who don't know, here, I'll show you this. Perfect numbers. They go 6, 28, 496. And then it gets even bigger. There's not a lot of perfect numbers. But here, the perfect numbers are 28. What in the world is this? Hold on. Let me read it from the beginning. Perfect number, a positive integer that is equal to the sum of its proper divisors. So that means 6 is a perfect number because the numbers that divide into 6, not counting 6 itself, are 1, 2, and 3. And if you add 1 plus 2 plus 3, it's 6. The next perfect number is 28. The numbers that divide into 28 are 1, 2, 4, 7, and 14. And if you add up all those numbers, it equals 28. Now, there's not another number until 496 where its divisors add up to 496. And then after 496, the next perfect number is 8,128. And then the number gets even more astronomical. So the point is, there's not a lot of perfect numbers. But tonight, Baylor gets their 28th win. And again, in the most pure cipher, just the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, Baylor's 28. And then when you run the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, Gonzaga's 28. And also remember, in the most simple cipher, perfect is 73. And Baylor hadn't been in the championship since 1948, 73 years before 2021. And 73 is the 21st prime. And again, Gonzaga on 37 at the half, trying to become perfect. But instead, Baylor stops it, preserving it for Indiana, where the game is, and gets a perfect number win, 28. But here's what's interesting about the numbers 6 and 28. Okay, so again, 6 is the first perfect number, 28 is the next. With the most simple cipher, man, the word man is 28. And in the Bible, man is made on the 6th day in the image of the gods, plural. So on the 6th day, man is made. And the first man's name is Adam. And when you run the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology, Adam is 26. And in the Bible, it's the 6th day in the 26th verse of the Bible where man is made. And again, when you write out 6th, it's 26. It's also got the 28, a perfect number like man. So man 28, Adam 26. If I didn't say so, God is 26. And remember, this whole practice of letters and numbers comes from Kabbalah, where in the opening of the book of formation, the Sefer Yetzirah, it says God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. And in the beginning of the Bible, God speaks the world into existence over numbered days. But in Hebrew, the 4-letter name of God equals 26. The English alphabet's 26 letters, and God equals 26 with English, just using the most simple cipher. A is 1 up to Z is 26. Just like the 4-letter name of God is 26, using the most simple cipher in Hebrew. Again, this originally comes from Hebrew. But it's not hard to see that the understanding of this knowledge is encoded in our language. And again, all of this knowledge was acquired by the Catholic Church during the time of the Crusades, and the Jesuits are experts in esoteric knowledge and, Jewish mysticism, because the Jesuits were created by Jews who converted to Catholicism. So, and again, the language in the calendar, it's all credited to the Catholic Church. And, Gonzaga, the Catholic Jesuit school, remember, Gonzaga is 71 with the most simple cipher and 35, just like Catholic, 71-35. And again, Gonzaga's got the 28, just like Baylor, who got their 28th win tonight in their championship 73 years later over the Catholic school, right? Catholic 71-35, Gonzaga 71-35. And then the word perfect also, since this perfect ritual, it's got the 35 in it also. But Mark Few could not get 37 tonight. Instead, he was down with 37 at the half. They'll always pay tribute to the numbers. That's what's funny. That's like why feel like you get kicked in the nuts. Because, again, even when I lose with this knowledge, you guys, and again, we've been doing this for a long time. We stay ahead of the curve. We lose here and there like I did tonight. I was wrong. But still, the same numbers we're talking about, and I mean, just everything I talked about. Like, literally, if you watch the stream, even though I'm on the wrong side of the game, where I said I could be because Baylor's got that 28 thing. I didn't want to see that happen, but it happened. But still, every other thing we talked about, I mean, 86, 47, 37, it was just also clear in the score. And that's the way it always is. It's just like in the college tournament in the opening round, we had Oral Roberts upsetting, which was a huge payout. And we had Ohio upsetting Virginia, which was a really nice payout. We had some other nice upsets, but those were our two biggest. Again, this knowledge definitely pays dividends, but I still very mediocre through the whole tournament. I'm not happy with myself at all, especially now that Gonzaga lost. But at the same time, it's not like I'm disappointed or I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I got the last 8 things right. Now that this is wrong, I guess Gematria is just worthless. I mean, for people who have that kind of attitude, that's really the wrong attitude. Again, sometimes you put the puzzle pieces together wrong, but you still see the worth of the knowledge. And the point is, more than making money and cash and slips, what's more important is to wake up your fellow man to this sick, perverse world we're living in and how they do this stuff. Elgin Baylor dead on March 22nd at age 86. And then Baylor wins the championship with 86. And here's the other thing I haven't brought up yet. I had to look up this Jared Butler, right? I'm going to just show you all that comes together in my mind because of this. Jared Butler, again, is the star for Baylor tonight. And the university in Indianapolis where the championship is Butler, where the Baylor coach went to college at. And remember, the Baylor coach's brother coaches Grand Canyon, where Oscar Freyer died ritualistically after their game, the player. There was a lot of stuff that went on in this. But this guy, from his birthday, August 25th, 2020, to today's game, hold on, let me get this in there right. August 25th, 2020. You see how it's 223 days? What day did Elgin Baylor die? He died March 22nd, right? March 22nd. A date written 22/3 in the majority of the world. And of course, Skull and Bones is number 322. Now, remember, Bill Gates, his father. Here, I'll just show you this real quick so you don't have to take my word for it. Bill Gates' birthday, October 28th. I'm going to show you something. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology, the name William Henry Gates is 258. And his dad died last year, September 14th, which in a leap year is the 258th day of the year. And he established his vaccine alliance, Gavi, on the 258th day of the year. And in my book, which came out before his dad died, I talked about the significance of him in 258 and the vaccine alliance. And then his dad dies on the 258th day of the year. But here's the next piece about that. From Bill Gates' October 28th birthday to the day his dad died, September 14th, 2020. So Bill Gates' last birthday was October 28th, 2019, before his dad's death, which was September 14th, 2020. You see how it was 322 days later, 322, the number of Skull and Bones. And then the 258. And again, Elgin Baylor just died on March 22nd, 322 or 223, right? And Butler is the Bulldogs. Gonzaga's the Bulldogs. What's Yale's nickname? Isn't Yale also the Bulldogs? I'm pretty sure Yale is also the Bulldogs, right? Yeah, Yale's the Bulldogs, just like Butler. Well, that came up with Jimmy Butler's nickname. Butler University nickname. Bulldogs. And Gonzaga is also the Bulldogs. But again, Yale is where Skull and Bones is from, right? And the system's just been spreading, throughout the nation. The secret societies, the alliances, the code, the network, from east to west. And just think about that. From Yale to Butler, all the way out to the West Coast, Gonzaga. Again, there is only 27 Jesuit universities, but if you read about the Jesuits, the thing is they have infiltrated a lot of universities, you see. So they only have 27 in their own name, but how many are really under their influence? And yeah, it's just amazing how they pull this stuff off, but they do it year after year. It's just skull and bones rituals in sports. I mean, we've talked about it so many times, but God, man, just 67 shots, 86 points. The again, blood sacrifice and human sacrifice numbers that we talk about all the time, that we talked about so many times. So, and the score was 67-86 at the end. And the only one other thing that really concerned me about Gonzaga is falling to 31-1, because it's a bit like 311, the 64th prime. And again, Gonzaga Bulldogs got that 64 in the most pure cipher. So there were some numbers there, but man, like I told you, I guess what happened today is, Bobby Knight's legacy's preserved. You see how Gonzaga Bulldogs is 163? Today's Bobby Knight's 163rd day of his age. And, he gets to remain as the last undefeated coach to go perfect. Mark Few doesn't tie him. And when you write out Bobby Knight, it's 115 in that most simple cipher. Had Mark Few, the Gonzaga coach, won, he would have got his 631st win, the 115th prime. And didn't happen. And so, again, that's why sometimes we're on the wrong side of games. It's like we understand the ritual. We know it's a tribute to perfect. And early in the year when I said it looks like Gonzaga could go perfect this year and we were looking at this stuff, I didn't see that it would line up against Butler and they'd be able to get their 28th win, a perfect number. So it's like you had the right idea. And historically, when I've gotten, that far into something, I just write it out. And normally it works out, but there's been times where it disappointed. So, the last time that there was really a strong ritual where we were really following and like everything was lining up was the year that the Patriots lost to the Eagles. It's funny, that ritual had a lot to do with 86 too, now that I think about it. It was funny, man. But the year that the Patriots lost to the Eagles, because that year in week 3, we said the Super Bowl would be Patriots and Eagles. And I said there was a small chance the Eagles would win, but I was more on the Patriots side. That's the only time I've ever gotten the NFL Super Bowl wrong between the final two teams and the time I've been doing this. And a lot of the times we've had it from way early in the season. But the one thing that worried me that year was that Zach Ertz was number 86 for the Eagles, and the Super Bowl was 86 days after his birthday, and the national anthem had been adopted 86 years before that season. And I said, if I'm wrong about the Patriots, Zach Ertz will probably score the winning touchdown for the Eagles, which is what happened, but I did not want to see that happen. There were so many 62 rituals that year with Tom Brady, and the Super Bowl was in Minneapolis. And that's a big number in Minneapolis. And just to make a point, Minneapolis is 62. Remember last year you had the killing of Floyd, 62. And then you had all the rioting, 62. And, it was provoked by the officer, 62. And it was the park police in Park, 62. And there was even more to it. But the point is, I already knew 62 mattered in Minneapolis, where the Super Bowl was that year. And Brady could have become 6-2 in Super Bowls. And you had all these 62 rituals throughout the season. But I was worried that in the back of my mind, I was worried that he could fall to 5-3, because I always lecture about how important 53 is to football because of the 53-man roster, the 53 and a third wide yard field, and the fact that Vesica Pisces equals 53, which is the most important shape in sacred geometry, which is the shape of the American football. And sure enough, he fell to 5-3. And I was like, God, man, they did all that 62 stuff all year. The Super Bowl's in Minneapolis. And he's still losing, fall to 5-3. I shouldn't have doubted that number. But again, you win some, you lose some. And with this knowledge, we definitely win a lot more than we lose. But when I lose, when I feel bad about when I lose is when there's something that was there and I'm like, God, I just didn't do enough research, or I missed something really obvious. In this case, I don't really feel bad about it because, we were right. We weren't that far off. It's like before the season began, we said Gonzaga would be in the championship. I thought they would win it, but hey, at least they're in the game. Had they not even made the tournament or gotten eliminated right in the opening or second round, that'd be embarrassing. But understanding the perfect thing and what they were doing with perfect and why in 20, again, remember in the most simple cipher, Baylor's 73, perfect 73. Baylor has not been in the championship since 48, which was 73 years ago. 73 is the 21st prime number. It's 2021. We've been talking about 73 and 21 all year, something we expected to talk about. But I should also mention this Jared Butler, the game being 223 days after his birthday today, that's the 48th prime number Again, they hadn't been in the championship since 48. Now, all these years later, they win it. And here, I'm going to get into something that some people might think is stupid, but it's not. And pay attention to everything I'm about to show you and then tell me you think it's a coincidence. Okay. So, Yale Skull and Bones. If you don't know what Yale Skull and Bones is, look it up. It is a secret society at Yale. You can go back, type this in when you get a second. Skull and Bones 322 Bush Carey 2004. And hopefully you can type out that many words. It's really not that many. Imagine the day back when you actually had to write it out. It's so much faster to type it in. People just getting so lazy with all the new stuff. But anyway, type in again. Bush Carey Skull and Bones 322 2004. You'll find Tim Russert meet the press interviewing Bush and Carey and asking them both about being the front runners for president and both having attended this small secret society, Skull and Bones at Yale, which Bush's father was also a member of. And so was his father, Prescott Bush, who was a senator, but George H.W. and George W. Bush, who were both in that small secret society, were the 41st and 43rd presidents. And remember, Yale is 43. His father was also the 43rd vice president, and Jeb Bush was the 43rd governor of Florida, where Brady just won the Super Bowl at age 43. And Bush, the second Bush's election came down to Florida. And remember, there was a murder in the Goatville neighborhood next to Yale the night before Brady just won the Super Bowl at age 43. Because again, Yale's 43, but notice Skull and Bones is 41. Again, the first Bush was 41st president, the second was 43rd. And in his election, it came down to Florida, where his brother was the 43rd governor. Okay. But by the way, you see how Skull and Bones is also 76? Remember, George W. Bush's birthday is July 6th. And we were just talking about the March 22nd shooting at King Soopers, which is 149. You know, that big Skull and Bones ritual there. Anyway. Bill Gates, on the 258th day of the year, his father dead 322 days after his birthday on September 14th, 14/9. We were just saying how Skull and Bones is 149. The point I'm trying to make to you right now is how many things are influenced and controlled by powerful secret societies like Yale Skull and Bones. It's clear they have, Bill Gates on a puppet strings. It's clear they do these same rituals year after year with sports. The other year it was a huge 149-322 ritual in the 322nd game of Dave Martinez as a manager for the Nationals. He stayed on 149 losses, and because of that riddle, we already checked the Skull and Bones thing they'd done earlier in the year with the Rangers and Astros in favor of the Astros. And the day that happened, which was September 27th, I think was that 2019 or 2018? I'm losing track of time right now. Yeah, it was 2019. September 27th, 2019, we said Astros Nationals is the World Series, Nationals over Astros. And it was a Skull and Bones ritual. And again, just year after year, Skull and Bones rituals in sports. Elgin Baylor this year on 322. But that same day, you had the shooting at King Soopers, which has that 149. Again, you watch the movie Enemy of the State. At an hour and 49 into the movie, he looks down and the time's 3:22 on his watch. And if you've never seen Enemy of the State, it was predictive programming for 9/11 in the surveillance state that we now live in. But really, predictive programming for the surveillance state of the 21st century we're now living in. Enemy of the State, which came out at the end of the 90s with Will Smith. Kind of related to I Am Legend too, man. It's another topic. But, oh yeah, okay. Here's the other thing. 223 is the 48th prime number. Now follow this. Illuminati in the most pure cipher is 48. And the Illuminati was a real thing. It was established by Adam Weishaupt May 1st, 1776. And he changed the name to Order of Illuminati, right? Order of Illuminati is 201. Now we talked about tonight how Indianapolis is 201, and today's game was 201 days after Elgin Baylor's birthday. Here, let me just see something real quick. 201, where do I have it at? I think I got it right here. Okay, look at this. Indianapolis is 201, the Jesuit Order is 201, Gonzaga, the Jesuit program. From today's game to the upcoming birthday of the coach of Butler was 201 days. From Elgin Baylor's birthday to today's game was 201 days later. Again, he just died at 86. Baylor wins at 86. And Gonzaga, their establishment date is 1 day after Elgin Baylor. So today was 200 days after their establishment date, or you could also say the 201st day of the age of the university. And Gonzaga is named after Aloysius de Gonzaga, which is 201. And remember, Gonzaga just won with 93 on the 93rd day of the year on the long shot by Jalen 93. Another way to express the name of Aloysius de Gonzaga is Saint Aloysius Gonzaga. It's also written that way, which is also 93. His birthday is March 9th, which is 93. Again, we're talking about the Society of Jesus, God's Son, Crucifix, Nazareth, 93. The 930th chapter of the Bible is where the Christian section begins. We're talking about getting a Catholic Jesuit school. So these huge rituals. But you know what's funny is had I been more on the Baylor side, and I wasn't. I was on the Gonzaga side. But had I been on the Baylor side before this game was played, to me, and by the way, did you guys know this, that both Gonzaga and Baylor scored 45 points at the end of the first half and led their games, and then they advanced to the championship on 4-5, where Baylor now defends Indiana's perfect season from 45 years ago. But had I been on the Baylor side before this game, I might have interpreted this 93 thing as maybe not so good for Gonzaga, because it's the numbers related to crucifixion, and they're kind of like going to be the sacrifice. Another thought I did have in the back of my head is in the two most simple ciphers. Again, basketball is 85. Remember, the first March Madness was in 85, and in that game, Villanova, the Catholic school, or in that championship for 85, the first March Madness, Villanova, the Catholic school, beat Georgetown, the Jesuit school. And again, that Jesuit motto is Isus Hominum Salvator. So it made me think, it's like, well, that year the Jesuit school did go down, but they lost to a Catholic school, and Baylor's not really... Make sure somehow I didn't miss the most obvious thing the whole tournament. I don't think Baylor's a Catholic school. It is Christian, though. Okay, it is Christian. Chartered in 1845. But yeah, they're not Catholic. But I guess they're Christian. So the Jesuit school goes down for the Christian school, which is interesting. But, you know, remember this. Jesuit, 84 forward, 78 in reverse. Remember, John Thompson, who was the first black coach to win the college basketball championship, did it with Jesuit Georgetown in 84, and then he died at 78 on August 30th, 2020. A date was 78 numerology. And you see how Jesuit's 84, 21, 78? Notice Sunday, he died on a Sunday. Sunday's 84, 21, and 78, the day of Catholic worship. You see how Jesuit's also 42 down here? Notice how Georgetown in that same cipher is 42, the nation's first Jesuit university. But, yeah, that's the thing that can be tricky about this. It's like, even though it seems like it's the right year for the big, I mean, it was a huge Jesuit ritual. I guess, win or lose, it was a huge Jesuit ritual that they just did tonight. It's just the Jesuit school goes down in favor of the Christian school, Baylor, who gets the perfect number 28. But, yeah, I didn't follow college basketball, but at the beginning of the year before the season began, the day that they put out the rankings, the big story all day that day, which I did watch, was that Gonzaga for the first time ever was number one, and that was about the only thing Mark Few had never accomplished besides winning the championship, and if there was ever a year for him to win the championship, this was it. And to me, that narrative, a lot of times they'll give you the narrative and tell you what it is. I mean, to me, it felt right, knowing everything I know about the numbers and 21. But, and again, like during the season, we said, it looks like they're going to go perfect this year. That's what I was starting to feel. And they almost did, man. One game short, it hurts. But I see how they do it, man. It's funny, man. Baylor gets the 28th win, the perfect number to preserve it for Indiana. And the star player's Butler, and we're talking about how the coach went to Butler in Indianapolis. This is... They got this stuff. The point I'm making, man, is they got this stuff so planned out. They got it so planned out, man. They're farming these dudes. I'm telling you, not everyone on the team, but some of these guys, they're not like you and I. They're Manchurians. They were born and bred to be for the ritual. You know, they were going to be here. They had the right genetics. They've had the right coaching their life, put in the right spot. And it's just sick, though, man. I mean, it's from the Manchurians to the ritual sacrifice. And again, at the end of the day, we're here to help people, you know, earn some extra grocery money, not take it away from them. So I always feel bad when that happens. But at the end of the day, my top priority is really so that people see how wrong these sports leagues are, that people are dying ritualistically. And they make it so obvious, man. I mean, this Chadwick Boseman on Jackie Robinson Day, and people still don't get it. It wasn't even, and remember, that's not normally Jackie Robinson Day. It was moved to that because of COVID, and then they moved it to the birthday of the author of Black Panther, and then the guy who plays Black Panther and Jackie Robinson happens to die that day. And then prior to that day, every article said how he was sick at age 42 and his birthday was in November, but then he dies in August, and all of a sudden his age is 43. You know what I mean? But just year after year, educating about the rituals, the ritualistic death, the rigged outcomes, the scores that pay tribute to the ritual. This year, definitely on the wrong side of it. But man, 86 points after Elgin Baylor dead at 86 on 3-2-2. Man. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some calls. We're going to get some feedback from the people. And we should get it might be more fun, especially for the haters, because, normally people are happy after a championship because we called it right. But this year we were this close, but on the wrong side. So we'll see if people are keeping it real tonight. We'll see what the haters got to say. But you got to call in and make a good point. So I'm going to open up the line. We'll do calls for about 30 minutes. And then I got to give Sweet Lady some attention. She doesn't like when I stay up too late on the whoops, I just hit the wrong button. She doesn't like when I stay up too late on the regular days because she's got to get up early for school and my voice is loud and our house is small. Hold on.
Hello? Yes, sir.
Yeah, 207. What's up?
Zach, it's Nick from Bangor, Maine, dude. I've been trying to get a hold of you.
Well, you did it. First call tonight. How you doing?
Yes, sir. I wish I could tell you that this is planned. I'm doing very well. I'm coming to Yakima, Washington, dude. I'm driving.
Very cool. And you're driving from Maine.
I'm driving from Bangor, Maine tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
I believe you called into my Wednesday night radio show and said you might do this.
No, I've been sending you a couple emails, but I understand that you're busy, and
okay.
I just kind of came up with this plan. But you and I have communicated in the past, just, never on the phone.
Well, that is a huge commitment, and thank you very much. Are you going to make some pit stops along the way?
You know what? I'm going to put something out on Free to Find the Truth, after this, and I don't know.
See if are you thinking about really carpooling with people?
No, I can't. It's all I have is room for me.
Okay.
And it's a long story, man. But all I want to say to you is that I'm going to be in Yakima. I don't know, in a couple days.
You're gonna do it in 2 days? That's some serious driving. That's probably about 40 hours of driving at least.
I'm a CDL operator. I'm very accustomed to driving.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so, that's nothing to you. Okay, you're conditioned for it. All right, man. Very cool.
Yes, I am. Dude, this is my number, and if you wouldn't mind after the show or whatever, I will probably be up for a while. Shoot me a text, and I'll let you know step by step. But I'll spend some time and put something out on Free to Find the Truth, man. But, I don't know. I called in. I just picked up my phone, and I know that you have a live show. I picked up the phone, and here I am, and so it is meant to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, first call, man. Amazing.
You want to talk about bringing some attention to the community? I have a story, and I bought a video camera, and I got a terabyte storage, and I'm going to talk because I need to talk. I basically lost everything. And in order for me to get everything back, I need to come shake your hand.
Okay.
And I know that sounds crazy as shit. I know it sounds crazy, man. But I don't know. I was a police officer for a very long time. I was in EMS, law enforcement. You can Google my name and learn a lot about me if you'd like. It sounds crazy. I have the blessing from the only two people in my life that matter, my mother and my son. And I'm coming, dude.
Very cool. Well, I'm great. I mean, I'm honored to hear somebody would drive all the way across the country just to shake hands and meet me. That's very nice. And I assume you'll help us out on the corner that day?
Yes, sir.
Very cool.
I'm coming. I have my GematriaEffectNews hoodie on right now. I just got to wash it before I come.
Well, it might be warm to wear by the time you get out here. It's starting to heat up real fast, so.
Well, it's, I don't know. It snowed last night, and I was out on a walk and devising my plan. And I took a little shelter. I go to our mall that's been shut down due to, COVID-19 and 2021 and all. Sure. And so I just walk around, man, because 6 laps is a couple miles, and I'm getting in better shape. And I came up with my plan, dude. I don't know. That's it. I don't want to take up any more time, man. I'll just
Well, I saved your number,
hit me up.
and I look forward to meeting you, man. Drive safe.
All right. Yes,
All right.
yes, indeed. I'll keep you updated. Thank you, man.
You have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Take care.
Thanks. You as well. Bye.
Yeah. So again, long story short, Elgin Baylor died at age 86 during March Madness. Baylor wins the championship with where'd they go? 86 points. And yeah, it's something else how they just do this stuff over and over in front of the masses, and people just don't really notice and just doesn't even phase them. 313, what's up?
Hey, Zach, bro, you're just a fucking fraud, bro.
What's that?
You fucking lied on Patreon, bro.
What is it?
But there's our flame in your ass, bro.
I can't hear you because you're not speaking clearly. He hung up. But he was not speaking clearly, so I couldn't really understand what he was saying. $610?
Yo, what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, I was just tuning into a live stream. I wanted to, if you got the time, I just wanted to share some of my decodes and theories about the national championship with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I actually was telling my friends a couple weeks ago, when Elgin Baylor died, I was like, when he died on 322, I was like, all right, fuck, like, Baylor's definitely winning the championship. But I wanted to share the theories of why I felt like they were going to win, because I feel like this championship and Elgin Baylor's death was synced up with the Super Bowl, which was also a Skull and Bones ritual.
Here, before you go further,
actually,
I just want to remind so this game right here, everybody, on March 27th, this was the 86th day of the year, and this was Baylor's first game after the death of Elgin Baylor on March 22nd. And this game, they dropped Villanova to 18-7, and Elgin Baylor died 187 days after his birthday, and Society of Jesus is 187, and that number is associated with homicide, and then they beat the Catholic school. So
yep.
It was like a huge ritual to me. I was like, that's interesting, man, and that's why I'm not shocked that Baylor won. But there's been a lot of times where people have died and then their team makes it to the big game, but they don't win in it. In this case, they definitely won.
Right.
So go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, totally. So I'm just gonna preface it this way. So from the date of the Super Bowl to Elgin Baylor's death, which was 322, was exactly 43 days. And obviously the whole ritual of Tom Brady being 43 years old, there was that already plugged in. It was also 6 weeks in one day, which connects with Baylor, because if you type in green and gold, which is Baylor's school colors, it actually equals 61 in the most pure cipher. And ironically, it also equals 56. And then I think there's another 61 in there somewhere, but that one connected. But actually, what's more significant with the Super Bowl and the national championship specifically is the date numerology. Because if you go in the date calculator, 4/5/2021 has the exact same date numerology across the board as the Super Bowl, which I found was really interesting in terms of connecting it with today's game. But I'm actually going to share some of the decodes that I plugged in for Baylor today, and some of them you actually already touched on this week, but or like today in the last couple of days. But like Bears equals 45, Baylor obviously equals 73, 28. Baylor Bears. So Baylor across the board has all the same gematria as Tom Brady. So if you type in Baylor University, it has 98 gematria in the reverse full reduction. Bears alone has 45. That doesn't connect to Tom Brady, but it's 45. Baylor Bears has 46 and 118, which is in Tom Brady cipher. And Baylor alone has 35, which is also 35, which I found to be interesting. Also, you talked about how Baylor won his 28th game on the season today, just like the Buccaneers brought the 28th Super Bowl to the NFC, breaking the tie between breaking the tie.
And remember, Brady got his 7th ring too, in 28-7 have the relationship. When you had 1 through 7 is 28, just like how 7 Texas teams made the tournament, and then a Texas team ends up winning it. And this whole 7 thing started with the Dodgers winning their 7th World Series in Texas. These were the things that bothered me on the back of my mind. And in hindsight, it's like, man, Nothing's bothering me with the truth. But so anyway.
Yeah. And then also the whole 73 ritual too. Like, Tom Brady went 7-3 in Super Bowls. The 73 team Baylor won the national championship. Oh yeah, also I didn't mention.
You mean by the fact that they're in their first championship in 73 years is what you mean, right? And Baylor equals 73.
Right, that, yeah. And then also
the perfect thing was there though, because the word perfect was 73. So I was thinking it's perfect for the perfect tribute, and it was a perfect tribute in a way. The 28th win, the perfect number, but it's just like okay, keep going.
But also Elgin Baylor in the most pure cipher equals 57. And if you look at the date numerology, or not the date numerology, my fault, the date distance from the Super Bowl to today is exactly 57 days.
Oh, yeah, because it was the 38th day of the year, and today's the 95th. Yeah, and it's just like Oscar Freyer equaled 57. They said he died 57 hours after his birthday. And again, his brother is the coach at Baylor. And 57 is always that championship number, too. But, yeah. It does all fit together. So the other thing, December 5th, 2020, the day they canceled the Baylor and Gonzaga game in Indiana because of COVID, that was a date with 57 numerology as well.
I didn't know that, but I did actually watch some of the stream you were talking about earlier. I wanted to comment, and I sent commentary in there, but I don't know if people always see them, but sometimes it's like so overwhelming because I do like long ass decodes, and it's like, I don't want to take up much time, but I like want to try to be as concise as possible. But I also I was thinking about this as well, like as far as the Tom Brady tribute and the Skull and Bones tribute with the championships. Like, I just thought it was ironic that like obviously like the whole Tom Brady 12 TB12, you had the Big 12 team win the national championship.
That's true.
In the same year, the Corona year. Where there's 56 all over the place, like I was saying before, like green and gold, their colors equals 56. There's a couple other 56s.
That reminds me, we were talking about how Arkansas, Baylor, and what's the other school? They were all from part of this old conference that got canceled. SWAC, Southwest Conference or something like that. I forget what it's called. I think it's the Southwest Conference. And that equals 95, like today's championships on the 95th day of the year. Let me see if that's what it was. Yeah, Southwest Conference is 95. And now the team that used to be part of the Southwest Conference won the championship on the 95th day of the year. Okay.
So you mentioned earlier that Baylor is a Christian school. They're actually Baptist, and if you type in Baptist, it also equals 56 in the reverse forward.
Really?
And also, so that was another clue that I typed in earlier. I was like,
wait, I don't see that. Baylor. Baptist is 50.
I was kind of confused because I was like,
Baptist is 56? I don't see that.
Yeah, Baptist. If you type in Baptist with an S at the end. So Baptist.
Oh, the plural. Oh, I see. The plural. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's 106 as well, just like, it lines up with Society of Jesus with the 56. But then also, if you type in Baylor National Champions, it equals 257, the 55th prime in the same year as Super Bowl 55, just like National Football Conference is 257, 55th prime. Obviously, the National Football Conference won the Super Bowl this year, so there was that lining up. And then if you type in Baylor National Champs alone, it equals 84. In the most pure cipher, like the Jesuit order, equals 84 in reverse forward reduction. So there was a couple other connections that I made. I did those decodes earlier today, but like when Elgin Baylor passed away on 322, I was like, that day I was like, I'm picking Baylor to win. Like I didn't put any bets down, but I was telling my friends like, yo, Baylor's winning. But I did put a money line bet in the day. I won $200, but like I wasn't even calling for that. I really just wanted to share these decodes. Oh yeah, another thing is, the Buccaneers and Baylor both came into their championships as underdogs. And if you type in underdog, it's 43 in the most pure cipher, and it's 38 in the reverse full reduction. And then underdogs plural is 107 in the English ordinal, which is the 28th. Prime, just like Baylor got his 28th win today. Buccaneers brought the 28th Super Bowl to the NFC, and then underdogs plural also equals 46, just like Tom Brady. So I thought there was
I got to admit, man, you did a good job of what I say about how they're all connected and all themed, and they'll kind of run along the same numbers. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny because again, like 201 is the Jesuit number, but they had the perfect 201 with Elgin Baylor from his birthday to the championship, 201 days, and then 201 days to the coach's birthday, but also 201 days from the anniversary of the establishment of Gonzaga. But yeah, you did a good job, man. Well
That's some
done.
interesting stuff, man. Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad you picked up. I'm happy I was able to share with you. Keep doing the work you're doing. I show your videos to my friends. I try to decode. I'm trying to get my friends to decode. Like they're kind of leaning, but I don't think they really get it yet. I'm trying to like convince them to see the parallels between media, celebrity news, world news, quote unquote world news, sports. And just like make those connections. Like I got some of my friends kind of like, yo, like I was texting my friends and my friends earlier, like, yo, you fucking called it or whatever with the Baylor shit. But yeah, man, I just wanted to say thanks for taking my call and also like just keep doing the work you're doing because
all right,
I
man.
find it very helpful.
I appreciate it.
It's helpful for the world.
Keep up the good work, man, and keep spreading to your friends. They'll get it. You have a good night. 774.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's up, man?
How are you, brother? What's going on tonight?
Well, I'm doing all right. I'd be happier if Gonzaga won, though. I'll tell you that much.
I feel you on that. I'm calling you from Cape Cod, Massachusetts right now. Got a lot of Jesuits, a lot of funky people in society that like to come out here, but I'm good, so we all good. How you doing?
Doing all right.
So cool. So I don't bet sports. All right, I trade crypto, and you would be.
Hey, by the way, today's Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday, April 5th, by the way. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yep. That was yesterday. And lo and behold, go figure, the market pumps. You don't say.
I'm still on the West Coast. It's still April 5th out here.
Facts. Now, I noticed that you said 54. Was that a Freemasonic number or was that a Jesuit number?
Jesuit Order 54. John Carroll 54 established the first Jesuit university at 54. Yeah, that's a Jesuit number 54.
You're gonna think I'm fucking crazy. Okay, I've been watching the charts. I've been in crypto for years. I watched this shit retrace to 54,000. I put $15,000 of my own money. I said, fuck it. I said they're gonna hold the line right here. 54,000. Lo and behold, we're at 58,000 right now. And you know where we're going to go? 201,000. And I'm going, and you might say, where are you getting those numbers from? The Gematria. Just knowing that all these numbers mean something to these guys. And it plays out right in the charts. It plays out right in front of me. And you know what? I looked up, I think it was Freemason, to look up words that also had the same ciphers. Lumens, Lumens. There's a cryptocurrency called Stellar Lumens.
Mm-hmm.
Just bought another 10,000 of those. They're trading at about 40 something cents right now.
Okay.
It's going to go to the moon. But I just want to say, man, thank you because you see it and I see it. We're going to use this to make some money this year. So thank you, brother.
Indeed. Yeah, keep up the good work, Brent. You have a good night. Yeah, at the beginning of the year, we noticed that Satoshi Nakamoto was 45 years old. He'll turn 46 today, April. So he's 46 now, but he was 45 years old last year. His birthday is April 5th, 4-5. And we noticed that Bitcoin hit its record high 45 weeks after his birthday. And we said, by Valentine's, the 45th day of the year, it should be up to at least 45,000, maybe 50, and it ended up being at 48,000. What's up, Ben? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. I just want to let you know, I didn't do any decodes for the March Madness, but I was watching golf yesterday, and an interesting observation I just made: Jordan Spieth won a tournament for the first time
in a long time,
2017.
Yeah,
and he did it exactly 193 weeks after his last win. And 193 is the 44th prime, and he did it on 4-4 on Easter Sunday, and Easter Sunday's 44.
Right.
And he's very much associated with Texas. In fact, the tournament was the Valero Texas Open, and he went to college at the University of Austin. And I actually just looked up. He went to high school at some preparatory school called Jesuit Dallas.
Yeah, I saw that he went to. I saw he went to Jesuit. Yeah, in Texas. Yeah. That's a good catch.
Oh, did you do this already? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't.
Really?
But we just started to look at the Masters a little bit, and I think it was in yesterday's live stream. Somebody called about that. I was like, look at that. He went to Jesuit. So,
Oh yeah.
but no, go ahead. You got a lot
Well,
of good facts.
I just thought that maybe it might have the tournament tonight might have had something to do with him because he made a big breakthrough and he hadn't, he's kind of like come back now, I guess you would say, after not playing well for the last 3-4 years.
Right.
And he picked up his 12th PGA Tour win and the 37th to 12th prime. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what's funny? Tonight in the NBA, so things went the exact opposite. So tonight I noticed in the NBA that Utah was playing Dallas, which is close to Baylor. And by the way, did anybody notice that the Houston-Dallas start time was 2:14 and they just had the state freeze over on 2:14 Valentine's Day? The Houston-Baylor game started at 2:14.
Yeah, well, Jordan Spieth lives in Dallas. That's where he lives.
We'll say that again?
Jordan Spieth lives in Dallas.
Oh, okay. So tonight, though, Utah played Dallas in the NBA. And John Stockton's the biggest alumni of Gonzaga. And, of course, he had his career with Utah. So Gonzaga and Utah both lost tonight. And Baylor and Dallas both got their 28th wins, the 7th triangular, where all this 7 stuff's going on in sports. And it started in Texas, where the Dodgers got their 7th World Series win. So, and that was near Dallas as well. So that they did do the ritual cross sports with Dallas, but because I was thinking it was Gonzaga's night, I thought that'd be favorable for Utah as well, since John Stockton's connected to both teams, but it got on the wrong side of that riddle. So, but 28 in both.
Yeah. On another note, did you notice? Remember, I called into the Patreon a while back, and I pointed out something with the Bichette family in baseball and
Dante
how
Bichette.
The one played for Colorado and how and now his son plays for Toronto.
Right.
Well, and I told you that there might be a connection between Colorado and Toronto, especially through Troy Tulowitzki. Well, lo and behold, you got King Supers and all the 58 crap with that, and then the day before the MLB season started, you got the whole 58 thing at that California office shooting.
Right.
And then the next day, on opening day, the Rockies beat the Dodgers 5-8.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
5-8, and now the All-Star game's been moved to Colorado.
I saw that. That's an important detail. And I talked about yesterday on the Patreon live stream. I said there's a good chance that baseball announces where the All-Star games move to today, Monday, April 5th. Again, anybody can watch. You can watch my Patreon and see how I was wrong about Gonzaga, but I did say expect the baseball news today because, again, remember, you guys, baseball's 54 in the most simple cipher and the reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. 54 outs in a game. Today can be written 5-4, but today's also 4-5 in Major League's 45. And so is Ritual and this whole moving of the All-Star game from where one mass shooting really captivated the month, the spa shootings on March 16th. Then the other big mass shooting in the month is in Colorado at King Soopers. There were others, but isn't that true, Ben, that the 2 biggest shootings of the month were in Atlanta with the spas and King Soopers in Colorado for March?
King Supers was definitely the biggest, and then the Spas was definitely next, and then
because it was 10 dead and 8 dead. That's why.
I don't know if the California one was as big, but it was still the day before the opening day, and it obviously had a lot to do with baseball.
Right. So anyway, I said just watch. They'll announce where they're moving the All-Star game to today. And it's not an accident that it's Colorado and Georgia. Again, it's all ritual. The sports, the news, it's all synced up together to keep people focused on the same topics, the same narratives. It's all programming. It's all ritual. So.
Right. A Coors Field equals 56, too.
Funny.
Good number for the Times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got the Freemasonic Airport in Colorado. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all I got. So,
all right, appreciate it, Ben. Good work as always. Thank you, friend. Yeah, have a good night.
No problem. Have a good night.
Yeah, it's disappointment here. I don't like being wrong, but like I said, the things that are most important I won't be wrong about. The rituals that people need to understand. What's up, 708?
Hello?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Hey, what's going on, Zach? It's Frank.
Hey, man.
Hey, I'm just worried about the sacrifice rituals after this game. Tomorrow's 4-6.
Sure.
Sacrifice equals 46. Rap equals 46.
Yeah,
I'm kind of worried about DMX in a way.
So. That's probably not out of the question with all the GOAT stuff going on, and yeah, it's very possible that we read about DMX tomorrow, man, because they're just saying he's just on life support and pretty much in a vegetative state. The prognosis hasn't changed.
And I heard some people in the community said he's off life support. I mean, I don't. I'm like,
here, let me search right now.
It.
I checked. The last time I checked was this morning, and it was all still the same. Let's see what the latest is. DMX's fiance, ex-wife, kids among hundreds at hospital prayer vigil. Critical condition. On life support following heart attack. Vegetative state. Remains on life support. Family plans for prayer vigil today, Monday. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, the Baylor Bears equals 46. I mean, so you might hear something tomorrow. I don't know. Well, today, I mean.
I'm just thinking about something. From the Super Bowl is February 7th, the 38th day of the year. Today's the 95th day of the year. So today was 57 days later. Interesting, that championship-related number. Tomorrow will be 58 or a span of 59, and then April 7th would be 59 days. The DMX, man, the next 2 days, I hope he makes it through, because the sacrifice is tomorrow, but then how many rappers die in connection to 74 too? April 7th can be written 7-4, like rappers 74, like killing 74, like crosses 74, and we were talking about how he was the crucifixion ritual on April 3rd. So these next 2 days, man, I mean, I don't think they're in DMX's favor, but I hope he persists, man. It's just too bad that the world's this sick.
Yeah, definitely. And tomorrow would be, he's got that December 18th birthday.
Right. Yeah.
Tomorrow would be 3 months and 19 days. He's got that 319. You all know about 319.
Yeah.
So.
You know what's funny though? So that means April 7th would be 3 months and 18 days, and if you look into 318 in the Bible, there's 318 mentions of the resurrection, and it happened to him over Easter weekend, which has to do with the resurrection, and again, just the whole crucifix cross thing. We'll see what happens, man. So yeah, it's sick either way.
Yeah, I hope he pulls through, man, because he's probably one of the most talented rappers out there, you know. Yeah, it sucks, man.
Well, what I always thought about DMX is he always seemed like, I thought he said a lot of stuff that was super messed up, but I mean, he was always trying to paint a picture, and man, he was good at painting a picture, but he always seemed authentic to me. Like most other people, I just like, he sounds like he's just full of it. He's just trying to rhyme and sound hard, but DMX always seems sincere, so.
Right. So, yeah, I'm just worried about all these, you know, we know what happens after these big games. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
That's all I care about.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
All right, man. That's all I had, Zach.
All right. Yeah. You have a good night. Take care.
All right. Take care, man.
Yeah. Again, if you missed the video on DMX, man, it's just the same old stuff year after year, man. 808.
Yeah, Zach, hey, just had something to tell you. I know this is kind of late that comes in as you watch the game, but once Baylor was ahead and winning in the fourth quarter, they go back to a interview of the Baylor's coach back in 2003 that said, "We're not here to win games. I'm not here to coach the Baylor Bears to win NCAA tournament games." They showed this in the game. They said, "I'm here to possibly win a championship." And then it shows an excerpt on the bottom right hand of the corner of the screen that says it's his 18th season. Well, 2003 is 18 years ago.
Right.
So he won a championship 18 years after he made that interview.
Sure. Yeah.
And they showed it on the game.
That reminds me, another thing that was there for Baylor tonight was their coach stayed on 226 career losses in Lucas Oil Stadium, which has that 226 connection, and it also was 100. And today was Mark Few's 100th day of his age, and notice the 179 as well, because Baylor Bears is 179. And again, that's why you got to know your ciphers, forwards, and backwards. I mean, they did have some riddles there. I still thought the perfect one was better for Gonzaga, but yeah, what you just said, I mean, that's how it is. This stuff's planned out long in advance. You know, he does his time, and then after 18 years, veteran in the business, he gets his big day, the first championship for his school. So.
And didn't you say something just now about when the caller called in about DMX, something about 18 and resurrections?
318. There's 318 mentions of the resurrection of Jesus in the Bible. It's the reverse of pi. 318 is the reverse of pi. 22 divided by 7 is pi. 7 divided by 22 is 0.318. But
yeah, in 22, Deshaun Watson just got his 22nd case filed against him today.
Huh. Okay.
I mean, you know, I just look at the stuff and watch. And Jazz lost, and they, what's his name, Mitchell from Jazz, took a picture of a Baylor jersey with him in 45.
And right, because he wears 45 and the Baylor point guard wears 45. Yeah, I was thinking that we'd see Utah and Gonzaga win today in tribute to Gonzaga with the John Stockton connection.
John Stockton.
But instead it was Baylor and Dallas both pick up the 28, the perfect number, and yeah.
Man, you could listen. The way it goes down, you called it all perfect.
Well, almost,
they
man. We were a hair off there at the end, man. It was a crucial hair, but they did the perfect thing, though.
I really think that they watch the lines as they come in and what people are putting in, and then they kind of, you know, I'm not saying completely, but I'm just saying that they can, you know, shift the narrative a little.
Well, I've noticed that too over the years. I said, well, I mean, it's just like, to me, more lined up for Gonzaga. But I said, if Baylor wins 28, because Baylor and Gonzaga's 28, I mean, I couldn't be shocked about that. It is a perfect number, but man, just the 45 years on 4-5, that just kind of feels like the way they do things more often than not. And I still think that is the way they do it. Well, that's why sometimes it's like you get the majority right, but some don't come through, and you're like, well, damn, why didn't they do it in this one? But okay, 28, I see.
I'll let other callers get on, but one little thing that made me have like a red flag, DraftKings sent out a promotion that said, underdog flip-flop, change Gonzaga to plus 4.5 and money line plus 100. I thought, why the hell would they do that?
Pay even money.
They're a minus 200 underdog,
right?
Or favorite.
Right.
So I thought, they must be having a lot of bets come in for Gonzaga. Meaning, what I mean is that encourages the people who have already put in money line bets
to put even more on that side.
Oh yeah, yes, exactly.
That's how it is. That's
why
I always remind people at the end of the day, even though we have the knowledge and we see that this is how they rig it and do it, at the end of the day, they still hold the cards, and sometimes the outcomes are a little bit surprising. But you see, it's like, well, we did acknowledge that one little narrative was there, and they might save it for their backdoor ritual. If there's too much money one way, or if they see too big of a profit opportunity, it's like, well, sorry, Gonzaga, you were our plan, but you know what? We can't miss on this payload tonight, so we're going to go the Baylor route.
Absolutely. Yes. You're 100% right. That's why you always say you need to teach people, and you're doing all you can, brother. And I appreciate you. I ain't going to take up any more time, brother. You have a good night.
All right, yeah, have a good night too, man. Take care. What's up, 612?
Hey, Zach, this is Jason. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm all right. Hey, I just wanted to point out real quick, this will be short and sweet. Jalen Suggs, he's from Minneapolis. Well, he's from West St. Paul. He's from the Twin Cities. He played high school basketball for Minnehaha Academy. Minnehaha Academy had a big explosion from today, a span of 1,343 days ago.
Hold on, slow down, hold on. I got to figure out how to spell this. Minnehaha. I mean, I'm sure I'm spelling it wrong right now.
M-I-N-N-E.
Okay.
H-A-H-A.
Oh my God, I did spell it right. That sounds ridiculous.
Right, it's an Indian name, you know,
Okay.
Native, I should say, Native American, Minnehaha. So it's actually right on the river, dude. It's on the Mississippi River. It's like right there.
Hold
So
on, hold
anyway,
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay, so I just searched for it. You said this happened today?
no. It happened 1,343 days ago.
It happened August
So
2nd.
August,
Did it happen August 2nd?
yeah, August 2nd.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy because this is the 82nd tournament,
Yeah.
or you can write it 2-8, and Baylor just got the 28 ritual. I should have, in
Yeah, well, check this out.
hindsight, I should have thought more about the 28 being the reflection of 82. That seems like the biggest thing that, in hindsight, that I should have thought more about.
Right, well, check this out. So they had a big explosion at the school on that day, and from that day, the span of days to today, if you add the divisors of 1,343 days, it's 1440, like the time
Man,
number.
man.
And yeah, I remember you talking about full circle and shit like that in your thing you did earlier, talking about 227 and how the tournament came out on 314, you know, and circle.
Right.
Well, now 1440 is the time day. Now check it out. The number one high school prospect in the country right now is Jalen Suggs' old teammate, Chet Holmgren. You look up his name, and in 3 of the 4 ciphers, it matches perfectly with Keeper of Time. What's the Keeper of Time? Saturn, 93. They just won with 93. And then all of a sudden they blew up, man, like the school did.
Here, pause right there real quick. I want to make sure people follow this. So, caller right here is letting us know that Jalen Suggs, who hit the long shot to give Gonzaga the 93-point win over UCLA on the 93rd day of the year, he's from Minneapolis, the city on the 93rd meridian. We always talk about Minneapolis in 93, and the most pure cipher, Minneapolis, Minnesota's 93. You know, like the basketball team there, Minnesota Timberwolves, 93. Big number in that city. So he's from there, and his name Jalen is 93. So we're adding on to the 93s with Jalen. And again, the person Loyola's, or the person Gonzaga's named after, his birthday is March 9th, 93. And his name has the title of 93. And Gonzaga's last win of the season on the 93rd day of the year with 93 points on Suggs, who's from 93 land, Minneapolis, and he went to Minnehaha Academy that had an explosion on 8-2, and now these years later in the 82nd tournament, or again, August 2nd, 8-2 or 2-8. In the 82nd tournament, Gonzaga goes down to Baylor, giving them their 28th win, and Baylor and Gonzaga are 28. It's just like, this stuff's not an accident, you guys. It's all ritualistic, man. These people are psychopaths. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, and so his high school, or his buddy that he played with since 3rd grade, Chet Holmgren, if you type his name in the calculator, put in Chet Holmgren, and the only number that doesn't match with Keeper of Time is 52, which is the Minnesota number. You know that.
Okay.
You know?
Right.
So, yeah, and he's the number 1 prospect in high school. He's the unicorn. He's the true unicorn. You know, when they all say, oh, this guy's a unicorn. No, this kid dribbles like a point guard, and he's 7'2", and he just drains threes like crazy. He does everything, man. You know what I mean?
Funny, man. I gotta check him out.
All the schools are all after this kid.
Okay. It's funny, when I searched his name at first.
Saga is the front runner.
When I
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying when I searched his name, just that's what was the first thing that came up was Chet Holmgren Gonzaga. So I said, okay, he's about to go here. Huh.
Right. You know, he's a year behind Jalen Suggs, and they went to the same school, Minnehaha Academy. So that explosion, you know, and it was funny, man, because the story was they had these 2 contractors. They were like out of state, you know, the father, son, you know, contractors, and they were doing work on the gas pipes in the school, and then there was a leak, and they realized it, and they just ran for the hills without telling anybody. If you do research on this explosion, these dudes, like, you know, they created a gas leak, and then they just took off. Everybody get out, you know, as they were running out of the school. You know, and yeah, a big section of the school blew up. And apparently they say a couple people died, but, you know, I mean, the story just, even at the time, it was weird. And so now when, you know, looking at the championship, Jalen Suggs, I thought, you know, I wonder if that explosion has anything to do with it. And they blew up, man. Gonzaga blew it.
Yeah, they blew it again, man. That is their legacy so far. It almost makes me wonder if this guy will go to their team and he'll be the one that puts them over the hump the way they do these on. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, right. Well, the sad thing is if college sports weren't fixed, what sucks is that Minnesota's a hotbed for basketball players in high school. I mean, look at Paige Beckers, the girl. She went to St. Louis Park here in Minnesota, right just west of Minneapolis.
Look at this, man. Hold on.
Freshman.
Hey, I have
Jones, Tyus Jones, all of them, man. All these players always leave Minnesota.
I was gonna say this Minnehaha Academy, it equals 125, like the day the Baylor Gonzaga game was supposed to happen, December 5th. It's also 71, just like March Madness is 71, like Gonzaga Bulldogs is 71, like Baylor Bears is 71. And again, they made the first Final Four in 71 years, and Elgin Baylor's career high was 71 points. But then the school's also 82, like how this ends up being tied to the 82nd tournament, exploded on 8-2. I mean, this is why I hate that people cannot grasp this knowledge. It's like, okay, what are the odds that all this stuff just continues to line up year after year, and we see that they do these crazy rituals, whether it's connected to a mass shooting or a bomb going off or, just like all this crazy stuff. Elgin Baylor's death, I mean, it's just like, how don't people catch on?
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. It's crazy. You know what? I'd like to know how much money was on Gonzaga tonight. That would be the most interesting thing, man, to find out how much the scale is tilted one way or another on the money. Who's got the money on who. I don't care about the odds. I want to know where the money line is at before the game starts.
And there's these apps out there. There's apps out there, but I don't know how accurate those apps are. How do they really? Who's behind that app telling me how much money's all the way in all the casinos in Vegas and the money's this way? I just don't know if it's true or not. So
well, exactly. And the ones that are going to tell you stuff are going to tell you stuff that benefits them, not you.
Exactly. Exactly. Very well could be that way.
It's fucked up.
But yeah, I do think in some case they do have a plan A, plan B scenario, because even though, like, again, I just think back to the year that Brady did lose to the Eagles. Man, they did so many 62 things with that guy, and he could have become 6-2 in Minneapolis, and he didn't. And
Minneapolis, I think, is 62,
yeah,
right?
Just like Floyd and Riot and Park, since he's
Right.
killed by the Park Police, and just all the repetitive rituals.
Right.
Remember, so the first weekend of the NFL season, it was on a 62 date numerology on a Sunday, and we noticed that day that it was synced up with the George Floyd death, and there were 8 games where there was a black quarterback versus a white quarterback, and the black quarterbacks went 6-2 against the white quarterbacks, and it was all synced up with Floyd. We covered that at the beginning of the NFL season. And they did a number of other rituals with his death, and it's just like in the baseball postseason. In the baseball postseason, the first round was Minnesota and Houston, the cities that connect George Floyd from Houston down to Minnesota. They did a lot of stuff with George Floyd.
Well, there was also the thing with the World Series where they had the Washington Senators that moved. And that they had that drive-by where the Republican guy got shot practicing for their, thing. And it was all synced up with all that, too, with the Senators moving, the Washington Senators becoming the Twins.
Indeed. Yep, that's 100% right.
It's crazy how they do it.
It is.
But, yeah, I'll let the next caller get on. Nice talking to you. It's been a while. So,
Indeed. Thank you, Jason.
Other than that, man.
Yeah, great connection,
no
man.
all, man.
Great connection, great memory, and
and it makes you wonder. I mean, does it tell where there's other kids going to go? Because Minnesota's a hotbed for basketball recruits. You got Matthew Hurt, Tyus Jones, Trey Jones. The Paige Beckers. All these number one or there's like top 5 kids that get pulled out of Minnesota all the time. And one of them just recently chose Marquette, which, is a Jesuit school.
Close by.
And the golfers were trying to recruit him. And so you're thinking, okay, well, I don't remember for sure. Don't quote me on this, but I think one of the kids' parents used to go to the U of M. And so it's like, okay, you're going to go to Marquette instead of the legacy school, where your mom or whatever went. And all I can think of is what you talk about. It's the Jesuit shit. And I honestly think that these kids, when they say that they haven't decided or picked a school yet, I think that part of it is they haven't picked their persona, their life. Because when they go and they accept these the school deal or whatever, they go, and I think that they basically are picking their future. It's do you want to be the guy who wins an NBA championship, or are you the guy who wants to be the, average play, whatever. I mean, I don't know about how they play, but, you can either have all the riches and the fame and die young, or you can be the old announcer guy, the washed out fucking guy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I honestly think that part of these college choices for these top players, I think that that's what it is. I think that that's really, like Jalen Suggs. He's the guy that they talked about the whole time. Even when he was on the bench, they kept saying, "Oh, he's not in the game right now," and "Oh, he's back in the game." And then
Here,
a couple minutes
I
later,
gotta interject about
said
something.
He's back in the game, and it's like, well, he has been back in the game.
That's what
he said it a couple minutes ago.
That's what I hate though about watching sports is they're always trying to sell you on who the superstar is. When I watch him play, I don't think superstar. I mean, he just he's
number 45 on Baylor looked better.
They're always.
So,
it's just like it's the guy who now plays for the Hawks, and who did he play for? Oklahoma. I think he played for Oklahoma. The little guy, man. I mean, who hoists up way too many shots. He's like, I mean, they're forcing these stars, man. It's just like, come on, there are better players in the country for sure. I don't want to hear about how this guy's the greatest player every single night. It's just not the case.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. I agree. It's sickening. It's tough to watch.
It's because it's controlled. They're selling the narrative. That's what people don't realize who watch TV. They're telling you what to think, and you're just believing it because they're saying it. Like you're thinking, like, well, they're the experts, so that must be what's right.
Well, exactly. That's like the news anchors. People turn on the news, and when this dope tells you that it's going to be sunny and 80 tomorrow, you're thinking, all right, picnic. And then the next day comes, and it's shit. It's cold and rainy and everything, man. And these assholes have all these technology pieces to try to predict the weather. And then the same people, they'll put stock in the fucking weatherman the next time. They go.
TV's got that mind control. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's like, well, I lied to you yesterday, but today I'll tell you the truth.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
They come back every day for their lies. I know, it's amazing, man. So, well, I appreciate it, Jason. I'm going to let the next one get in, man. You keep up the great work. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, see you, man.
All right, man. Hey, cool.
Have a good night. 412? 412, you're on. Yeah, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Zach? My name is Tavier. Also, Suave Tav in the chat. Hey, I was, yesterday you did the decode on the NCAA tournament about Gonzaga winning. I had seen someone in the chat talk about are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, yeah.
I seen someone in the chat talking about the Kentucky Derby, and there was a horse named Known Agenda. Did you get around to seeing that in the chat? Or
I didn't see. What was the name of the horse? The name of the horse?
No, the name of the horse was Known Agenda.
No Agenda. No, I didn't see that. So I'll have to look into that one.
Yeah, there's a horse named Known Agenda. So I was just trying to do some decodes, like on the name and the date numerology of the Kentucky Derby. So the Kentucky Derby is May 1st. And as I was doing the decodes on the date numerology, I seen that May 1st was 47. And I always remember that you said look for like weather warfare with the 52 date numerology. Am I correct? Was it 52 or 55?
52.
So I'm like, okay, the 47 is there. So I'm like, let me add on, 5 more days from the 1st of May 1st, which is 5-6. And we already know how many rituals been going on with the 56. So I was like, May 6th with the 52 date numerology with the weather warfare on May 6th. It was just me going into one, looking at Known Agenda, and then I seen the date numerology, and I'm like, okay, they're going to 52 and the 56 at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was just wanted you to keep an eye out for that May 6th date.
Well, indeed, and we talked about that because I've been talking about the weather warfare. We already went through and circled the 52 dates for the year because there's 2 in each month, and May 6th and May 26th, they're both curious dates that month, and they both got the 52 connection. And what's weird about the May 6th date is the phrase natural disaster is also 56. So, and again, flood and earth is 52, and we always see this flooding on the 52 dates. So, yeah, May 6th, definitely a curious date.
Yeah, but if you get a chance, definitely look into that horse that's named
No
known
agenda.
Like that's just really known agenda, known like we know this agenda.
I see.
I just wanted to drop that on to you real quick.
KNOW?
Yes, sir. KNOWN. No.
Oh, no one. It's no one.
109, 46, 188, and 53 is the Gematria.
Yeah, that's a weird name. Known Agenda. And it was pulled on March 22nd, 322. Oh my God, man.
And I forgot to tell you, so I had seen it in the chat, so I seen your live chat about the March Madness. You did it the live yesterday, but I watched it this morning. So when I seen someone in the chat talk about Known Agenda, I looked up, I'm like, nah, there's no way there's a horse named Known Agenda. And I looked it up, and there sure enough was, and guess how many points he got today? He's sitting on 102 points today. And I remember you talking about how moon equals 21 in the moon day, and I'm like, I'm like, the 102 is 201 reverse. I'm like, God damn. I'm sorry to cuss, but I'm like, man, there's some crazy numbers lined up with this.
This horse's name is such mockery on March 22nd, the big Skull and Bones date, and they have a lot to do with the agendas. Is the point I was making tonight, as I'm often making, man. No one agenda on March 22nd, the day the horse is born. Crazy.
And I have one more thing to say before I get off. And there's a young lady in the chat who you gave her a wrench. Her name is, I think, Angel Baby. You need to give her a wrench on this channel right here, man. Go on and hook her up, man. She got the chat going crazy. She's been holding it down for about a week. Angel Baby ain't got her blue wrench on this channel, man. Go on and hook her up.
My fault. I haven't been looking at the chat. As soon as I see her out there, I will give it. I don't know if she's posted in a minute, but I'll definitely give her a chat. Yeah, she's good. All right, appreciate that, man. Thanks for the heads up, too.
Have a good night, man.
Yeah, you have a good night, too. Take care.
Thank you.
Boston, 617.
What's going on?
Well, we know what's going on, man. It would be better if Gonzaga won, at least over here it would, but what's up, man?
Hey, man, you know me, you know boss, man. You know, we chilling over here on this side. I'm over here just making sure everybody in the chat and especially making sure that your mental health is all good. Everybody's straight. Everybody's doing good. You doing good, Zach?
Oh, I'm fine, man. I'd be happier if we won over here, but hey, man, I don't feel too bad about it. I mean, we were right on the perfect thing. We had the right team to making it there. They just didn't finish the deal for us. And man, I'm used to Gonzaga, man. They always come up just short. So I guess it was true to form in the end.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
We ain't none of us perfect. Ain't none of us anything. There's flaws. There's gonna be flaws. There's gonna be wins. There's gonna be losses.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And move forward. Keep our head up. Come on.
Yeah.
Now, Zach, I just want to let you know, man, you're doing your thing. You inspire a lot of people. You inspire too. You was like the epitome of like. You was like if I had 2 lemons in my hand, the average person would just make lemonade. But what you would do is you would squeeze them back into your eyes, and you would prove that you're just different.
I don't know if I'd squeeze them into my eyes, but man, I would make it really good lemonade, man. The best I could make it. Some people might half-ass their lemonade. So.
Yeah, I just thought about that. Maybe you wouldn't because of the whole bear spray thing. You don't want nothing similar to that. So that's what I would do, though. With that being said, chat, I hope you guys are smiling. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing great. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the night. Zach, I hope that sweet lady is treating you right. And you enjoy that sweet taste of Burma. Peace out, Zach.
Appreciate it, man. You have a good night. Sweet lady told me not to feel so bad tonight, but she was disappointed to see how bad my team was. What's up, 504?
How you doing, Zach?
Doing all right. How are
I
you?
was just calling I had a quick question for you, bro.
Yes. Go ahead.
What did you not see when you was doing the numbers before this game and everything, and you came up with Gonzaga? What did you miss?
I didn't really miss it.
Baylor
No, I didn't.
That you see now.
I didn't miss anything because I saw what their narrative was. It's just I like the Gonzaga thing better, man. I thought that they were going to get that, be the first perfect team, 45-0 on 4-5 in this year of the Jesuits with all this Jesuit shit everywhere.
Okay, well now look at this though. 45 was the reason why they lost. The 45 was on the Baylor. Baylor.
The point guard you're saying, number 45.
Yeah, Mitchell. Yeah, and now my thing is, I looked at Baylor and I watched them play Houston, and I did this without doing I did the Gematria. I looked at that, and I was seeing you said Gonzaga, but I looked at Baylor and I watched I'm like, man, they way bigger than these dudes. Way bigger. And I'm like, ain't no way in hell Gonzaga was going to be able to keep up with them boys.
Well, unless it's all...
Out the Gematria.
No, I hear what you're saying on that. Here, I don't mean to be racist. I'm not trying to be racist about this, but Gonzaga's that white boy team, right? And white boys don't normally win against black men because we all know the movie. White men can't jump. I mean, black men have better athleticism. I grew up playing basketball. I'm good at basketball. Where I got masters when I was on the court with bigger black guys than me, I just couldn't hang with a team of bigger black guys. They're jumping over my fucking head, man. I'm getting dunked on. So anyway, I mean, that's the reality too. And with all the Black Lives Matter stuff, I mean, if black people get any props where they deserve it in society, it's on the basketball court, and they got it tonight beating the white boy team Gonzaga. But I really, even despite all that, I still thought they were going to script this shit for Gonzaga. And a part of me wonders, I do want to know how much money was put down on Gonzaga. Here, I'll tell you what bothered me a lot this morning, and I should have said this. What bothered me a lot is I turned on First Take. I hardly ever watch ESPN First Take, but man, were they ever hyping up Gonzaga.
No, I watched it too.
They were talking so big about Gonzaga and how Gonzaga had it.
All day Gonzaga all day.
That bothered me, man. That bothered me.
I knew it.
Now, hold on. If you watched my Patreon yesterday, I said if you're big to win on Gonzaga, you might want to hedge with Baylor because there's some things here, and Baylor's the underdog, so you get the better value there. So I did say you might want to hedge because Baylor had some numbers, but God, I swear to God, I thought they were going to give it to Gonzaga.
I knew you didn't need the hedge because Baylor was just so much more dominant than them.
But listen to me. Hear me out, man. It's just like the year that I said my dad was laughing at me in Super Bowl 50. He said, Zach, no way is Peyton Manning going to win the Super Bowl. He can't even hardly throw the ball anymore. And I said, well, that'd be true if the game wasn't scripted. They're going to shame the young black man, Cam Newton. Peyton Manning's running off into the sunset. My dad said, no way. My dad also told me there was no way Manning would beat Brady the weekend before. But it's still all scripted. So if they wanted to script it for Gonzaga and just blow all the whistles for Gonzaga, it could have been them.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely scripted. But that 45 with Davion Mitchell, I knew that was going to be one for the books because he wore 45 because his last name was Mitchell. Then is Donovan Mitchell in the league.
And that's why I went 0-2 in those games. I was on the wrong side of that ritual. I thought they were going to give it to Utah because that's where John Stockton played, and he's the biggest Gonzaga alumni. And had Utah won, they would have been 17-9 on the road, like 179.
Right.
Baylor Bulldogs is 179, so Baylor Bears, 179. So I just thought I thought it was going to be about Gonzaga more, but obviously I was dead wrong, man. And again, Baylor and Dallas both got their 28th win tonight. So you still see how the leagues are connected. It's scripted. I was just on the wrong side of the narrative. And you're right. Had you take all the rigging out of it and you just looked and you said, come on, man, how's that Gonzaga team going to beat that Baylor squad? And that ended up being right. So that was correct.
Now, with pro sports all day, I agree with you on how rigged it is. College, they tend to let them play a little bit. Hence why they don't even let you bet on. I don't think you can really bet on college baseball, right?
You can a little bit. Not every game.
But, they try to keep it out because they try to protect the integrity of the game and shit. They ain't trying to really promote that shit with college baseball. But that's the same thing with college sports. They let these boys play. And when you let them play, this is what happens.
But the refs and coaches can still have a major influence. And that's why our history with college, we've done really well. And when I've missed games in college, it's just like the last time I missed a championship like this was college football. Not this past year we had it right, but the year before that I said Clemson would make it to the championship and win it. Well, they made it to the championship and lost. Just like this year before the season began, I said Gonzaga's in the championship. I think they win it. Well, they made it and lost. I mean, when we're off, it's not like we're way off.
Yeah, you was just off by that game. And the thing about it, I called Baylor a mile away. I seen that.
Well, you were right, man.
When Baylor used to run the court. But here's the thing, before you let me go, I like talking about futures. Who you like, NBA, for who you eyeing on?
Oh, you don't know? So I put out my pick for the NBA before the season began. And here, I'm going to tell you, I want you to do your own home. Now it's just all obvious that it's going to be this because now the one team's become an all-star team, but we had this before the season began. Go look at what the 56th NBA season was. Not the 1956 season, but the 56th NBA season, 19 years ago, because this is the 75th NBA season. The 56th NBA season is the key to what going on this year, because this year the NBA finals start on a 56 date numerology, and somebody can become 5 and 6 in the finals this year. And if history...
Coronavirus is 56, right?
What's that?
I think Corona is 56.
Oh, coronavirus 56.
Virus is 56 what?
Coronavirus.
Yeah, coronavirus is 56. Okay.
LeBron can become 5 and 6 in the finals this year, and go see who the Lakers beat in the 56th NBA season. They happen to play in a stadium that equals 56.
I don't know. I mean, you don't see a narrative for the Nets?
That is you haven't even looked it up. That's the team that's who the Lakers beat in the 56th NBA season. So before the season began, we said, I think this is a repeat of the 56th NBA season. Lakers over Nets, LeBron 5 and 6. So.
Okay, yeah, with Jason Kidd and all them, and then Jason Kidd coaching for the Lakers now, so it'll be kind of like okay, I see what you're getting at. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll look into that, most definitely. All right.
But now it's so obvious, man. The Nets got all the players in the world. I mean, now it's not even an exciting call. But before the season, it was pretty solid. So.
Well, I feel like Miami got something to say, and maybe
that was last year. They got to say it last year.
You gotta look at how long some of these teams been playing too, and how much money it'll be for them to have the Nets take a dive. And let one of these teams that's been at it get in there.
But this is an ongoing narrative, man. This LeBron Durant thing, man. These are storylines. I'll be shocked if that's not the finals at this point.
And then the thing about that's what I said. It's 2020. Shit been going crazy, so you never know, bro. Nobody said Miami last year. I had Miami penciled in. I said, bro, once Deion Waiters go to the Lakers, you can already say. Because Deion Waiters had the same gematria as Miami. They had some of the numbers.
The big clue for Lakers and Miami was through Pat Riley, and it was the fact that when they stopped the season for COVID.
Pat Riley and Deion Waiters got some of the similar numbers too.
But they kept Miami Heat on 41 wins through that whole COVID break in the season, and that was the big number with Kobe. And again, LeBron won the finals 41 weeks after his birthday. So, yeah.
So you never know. So, but I'm gonna keep an eye on. I'll keep in touch though, man. Nice talking to you.
All right, yeah, appreciate your call, man. You have a good night. Let's go out to Big Al. What's up, Big Al?
Hey, man. Damn, I was hoping the Gonzaga thing would just come through.
Yeah, man. Me too. Me too.
More bait for your thing. I mean, just because you know how people are, man. They're just retards. But
yeah,
I was looking. What worried me tonight was that what Baylor did, and that's why I hedged, man. So I did okay tonight because I hedged. I took the points tonight, man. I was hoping Gonzaga.
Now that is true. So for all the haters out there, we did say that it would make sense if Baylor covered tonight. So if you took Baylor to cover, you did all right tonight. So that was actually what we talked about on Patreon. Baylor looked like the team to cover with that 20-10 thing, which they did do. But damn, I still want to see Gonzaga win.
Yeah, and I took the under, too, because those scores all were under the 160. So I took Baylor in the points and the under. So I had a nice parlay.
We were on the under, too. I guess I'm glad you're calling it because you reminded me that it's not all bad. We did think Baylor would cover, and we did think that the underscore made a little bit more sense. So, okay, but God, I wanted to see Gonzaga win. That's what I wanted the most.
Yeah, I mean, I would have won more money if Gonzaga just because of my futures. I would have hit some of my futures, but... and I still have some with the Lakers and Brooklyn, but I had some in there with Gonzaga. But, hey, it is what it is, man. I still did well, and that's the thing. You got to take money off the table with this shit, when you get that close because sometimes it's just the way it is.
Right.
Like
sometimes Sometimes you can ride it out.
One year we were wrong on the Super Bowl, but I won more money that year because you were able to pick both teams, which was the same kind of deal, right? It was the same thing you talked about night to night. If Baylor won, it was all about protecting Indiana, just like the Steagles did, right? Philly, when they beat Brady in that Super Bowl, was all about protecting.
Oh yeah, the
Steelers,
six with the
who
Steelers.
used to be the Steagles.
Right.
The 7 championship thing. But, dude, we were on it the whole way, though, because we're like, hey, why the fuck is, Houston got 7 teams in the NCAA tournament.
Texas.
So that was what it was all about. It was
Texas.
the Texas thing, too, which, hey, some of you out there, you might want to sign up for Patreon because I think that Texas thing might connect to something else, too.
Sure.
That we've already been talking about.
Sure.
So, I mean...
Indeed. And you know what makes me mad in hindsight? Because I was talking about the 28 possible and the 7 thing, and what should have jogged into my memory is because remember why Oral Roberts beat Ohio State Buckeyes in the opening round, which you saw was a good possibility. That was synced up with the football championship. It was 68 days later in basketball, 68, and Ohio State Buckeyes is 68. And there was one other number in there that was big. I forget what it is now, but we saw that Oral Roberts could upset Ohio State. So now, remember, Ohio State lost by 28 points, and Saban got his 7th championship. And when you add 1 through 7, it's 28, just like Brady gets his 7th ring and brings home the 28th Super Bowl for the NFC. Now today, this big 28 ritual with Baylor, the last of the 7 Texas teams. In hindsight, it's like, man, that was the narrative to ride. But God,
man. A lot of sense, man.
But the Gonzaga 45 thing made a ton of sense too, man.
I know, but that's what makes it hard because both teams have such a solid riddle to be there.
Right.
And it's just sometimes it goes the other way. This is the way it's. That's why it's like tricky with this because it makes sense because here's how they do it. They'll give you almost the whole riddle sometimes, but then it's it's not quite that. So it looked like it was a total fucking repeat of history, but it was just this close. Everything but, who won.
Right.
But the team that wins still connects to why the team didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Al, just for people who don't know, what Al just said reminded me. So again, today was 4-5, and 45 years ago was the last time a team went perfect, and it was Indiana where the championship is, but also that year, Duke, Kentucky, and Louisville all missed the tournament, who are teams that are almost always there. And it's just like, what are the odds that all these things are the exact same? And it's 45 years later on 4-5. And then again, I mean, the things about how Mark Few could have got his 631st win tonight, the 115th prime, and Bobby Knight's 115, and he'd do what no coach has done since Bobby Knight. I mean, all of that made so much sense, and that's why I stayed on Gonzaga. But I was sweating out the 28 thing a little bit, and I mean, rightfully so, and I guess that's why you hedged, and good job. I advised people yesterday. Before the game, I did say yesterday, if all your eggs are in the Gonzaga basket, the 28 thing is a threat. Possibly staying on 226 losses in the stadium that's 226 from the coach who went to school in Indianapolis, that was a little bit of a threat. Those things came back to haunt us today, but if you hedged, like Al did, you did okay tonight. So I imagine, though, had Gonzaga won, you would have been further ahead. Is that true? If Gonzaga had won, you would have won more?
If Gonzaga would have won, I would have won a lot more because I would have still had futures alive with the Lakers and Brooklyn and stuff, and I would have hit some of my futures. But no, it's all good though. I didn't lose.
There was a guy who needed 2 more things to go on he already had a bunch of things hit on a parlay that he made a long time ago, like back in last October or November. He needed 2 more things on there. He needed Gonzaga to win tonight and Dodgers just to win their division. That was all he needed. So had Gonzaga won tonight, all he would have needed was the Dodgers to win, and it was a $200 ticket that paid nearly $200,000. But it's out tonight because Gonzaga lost. But
you should have taken the money off the table, man. I mean, you got to take money off.
He might have hedged the other way. He's a pretty smart guy, but I mean, still, that ticket would have been alive.
I mean, and that's the great thing about it. If you got the favorite, dude, then you're getting back sometimes 2 or 3 times your money. I mean, on that bet, so you're not having to put as much out. It just becomes challenging sometimes when it's the underdog you have, and then maybe that team's a heavy favorite. Then you got to throw a lot more out there. But hey, I wanted to. I don't know if you saw this. I sent it to you, but it just shows you how rigged this shit is. So, the whole thing with Suggs, right? You talked about it, how he had 93 points after scoring the 93rd point on the 93rd day of the year and the whole Saturn ritual and all that, right?
Right.
Suggs.
Right.
He didn't score a point, so they held him until 6:47. So he stayed on fucking 93 points, that keeper of time number, until 6:47 left in the game.
He had 93 points scored in the tournament. For the tournament, he was on 93?
Well, wasn't that what you put on the thing today?
Well, he scored Gonzaga won with 93 points on the 93rd day of the year on his long shot.
That, but I thought he had 93 points coming into this game. Maybe not.
Oh,
maybe I'm wrong.
I was talking about how he scored the night. I don't know if he had 93 points coming in the game. That'd be crazy. But
well, maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. But they still held his point check. He didn't score a point until 6:47 left in the first half. That was his very first points of the game. Now 6:47 is
13 in.
Time, like Gonzaga equals 118.
Oh, interesting. That's also 13 into the half. I just those numbers too. So
yeah, it's just obvious how rigged it is, man. How they just can control the whole entire thing. It's not a matter of talent or looks better. Or they do whatever the fuck they want.
It's weird to watch.
What they're trying to do is mind fuck you to put all your eggs in one basket.
That's what bothered me this morning. I should have done a stream and just told. I almost came on and did after I saw ESPN First Take. I almost reminded people, like, if you're on Gonzaga, you might want to hedge more with Baylor because God, they're really selling Gonzaga on ESPN, and I don't like to see this, man. The media is almost always duping people. And they were duping them hard.
That's what scared us at the beginning, man. Like with the whole thing where it was like the media was picking Gonzaga and Illinois. And I'm like, they never do this. It's like, this is like, fuck. And it's like they almost know now. Well, they know. It's not that they almost don't. This is exactly. They know there's a big enough portion of the community that can really put a dent on them if they're right. So it's like, hey, this is the game we play now. So you guys, yeah, we know they're on this. So fucking, just let's play this one. Let's get more of it,
Yeah.
It's all good, man. The longer you're at this, the better you get at it. So it's like, it's a cat and mouse game. But either way, if you get close, like, 9 out of fucking and a half out of 10 times, you're really close, even when you're wrong. So
that's why. I mean, I don't feel bad about I wish again, I admit it. I said I didn't watch any college basketball this year. Had I watched some more college basketball, I probably would have done a little bit better. But again, we were just a hair off, and I mean, it's not like we're shocked, but it is always a lot more fun when you win. So
no, I'm not shocked at all tonight, man. I'm not shocked at all. Just what I was seeing and everything, and I've seen these awesome riddles where the team is just there, but they don't win in the championship, and it's like, man, you just keep scratching your head, and you're like, well, why are they doing that? But I mean, I see it, man. It's there. It makes sense. It's just, and that fucking coach, man, 201 days from his birthday, man. 201 days.
And I mean, just the sickest thing is Elgin Baylor dead at 86. They win with 86 points in Indianapolis, 201 days after. Today would have been 201 days after his birthday if he didn't die. It's just so sick, man. I mean, that's why. And again,
and that whole thing, like how you pieced it all together, how from the Elgin Baylor to Baylor, and how their coach was connected to the
Oscar Freyer,
Grand Canyon coach. And by the way, that was the very first time Grand Canyon had ever made the big dance, right?
Right. Yeah.
And there's one of their star players gets like
exactly.
I mean, it's just stick, people. And then how fucking the Gonzaga player was even connected to Grand Canyon. It's just like, wow, this fucking shit is just disturbing.
Did you see what Jason just called in about? Did you hear Jason's call from Minneapolis?
No. What was he talking about?
Okay, so look at this.
I missed it.
Here, I'll put it up on. I don't know if you can see the screen right now. What, did I take it down? Okay, here it is.
The screen inside. I'm looking through the window.
Okay, so the Jalen Suggs, he's from Minneapolis, Minnesota, right? Which equals 93 on the 93rd meridian. And his former school exploded on August 2nd, 2017. 8-2, right? Or 2-8.
Wow.
And now in the 82nd tournament, see, that's the thing that's actually bothering me, is I should have thought more about the 28-82, how those are reflections of each other. Baylor gets the big 28 ritual in the 82nd tournament. But now to find out that Suggs is, again, Jalen equals 93, Minneapolis, Minnesota 93, on the 93rd meridian, hits the long shot to give him 93 points to win it on the 93rd day of the year. And we know how special that number is anyway. We talk about it all the time. But then to find out that not is he from 93 Land, Minneapolis, but on 8/2 his former school exploded. It's just like, come on, man.
And didn't you say they were doing shit with George Floyd today too in the news, right?
Yeah. Yeah, his trial's going on.
Yeah, so I mean, did that whole Minneapolis thing too. So it's like, yeah, they kind of.
Yeah, but he imploded today like the school. So, and what's funny is the name of the school is called Minnehaha Academy, which equals 82, just like it exploded on 8/2. And now he implodes in the 82nd tournament. So
amazing, isn't it?
It's just sick, man. It's like these people are literally blowing up fucking schools for their planned sick, fucked up rituals. Like, how crazy are these people? So.
And getting away with it, man. And people just like, you know, I guess you just have to be. Like, that's the state of my mind that I'm in now. The people that want to ignore this or dismiss it, now to me, they're the fucking enemy.
They're just on autopilot mode and they don't give a shit.
They are. I mean, you can't blame the people doing it anymore. It's like literally the people that want to totally ignore this and be so retarded to it, now they become the problem. And now this whole vaccine mess that they're pushing out and running on us, that shit, I mean, what are they really doing with that? That, you know, now these people become a danger to us. And now it's like, okay, we've all done it. Now you got to do it.
I don't know if you saw it the other day, but I was doing a live stream out here on the corner, and this girl, she's dancing around in her car, windows down, they're blasting this WAP song, and she's dancing around, and she's like, I forget, what agenda, what are you out here doing? And then I was like, have you heard of Event 201? And then she just flips me off with both hands while she's dancing, and then points with her middle finger to her arm and says she just got the shot. And I'm just like, oh my God, man, you're listening to like the trashiest music, you're flipping me off, you don't want to hear anything, and you're proud that you just got the shot. Why am I even out here talking on the corner? Maybe these people just all need to get the shot, and we'll see what we look like in a few years from now. So,
I think that's what's got to happen, and then hopefully enough of us can hold on to where, you know, we can really uproot the problem. But it's like these people are like in the fucking way right now, you know. So seriously, it's like that big of a mess.
They are, man.
I'm serious, man. You know,
yeah.
It's like,
and again, if anybody else calls in tonight who's a hater, I just want, before you hate, you can hate, but I just want to hear you acknowledge how it's just all a big coincidence that Elgin Baylor's dead at 86, and then you get the huge ritual on the 86th day of the year in the Baylor game, and now they win with 86 points. I mean, come on.
What a joke, man. It's sick, man, for not people to see it, you know, and you know, it's interesting. There's this guy, so I had this thread going on, and he asked me about 4-3. He was like, well, what do you... He's like, you see anything happening on you know, on April 3rd? And this was like 2 or 3 days before that date. And I went on about this 93 number, and they're all fucking watching the game. And then the dude does that. It's like, come on, I want a response here. How can you now fucking deny what I was just talking about 48 hours ago, and then this game ends this way? I said, did you see, I just made my point right there. I said, I should have figured it out a long time ago when Metal Lemon was fucking, you know, making half-court hook shots from, you know, half court all day long, right? Should have been able to know then something was up with it.
Right.
So it's just obvious. It's just so obvious what's going on and how you can people can keep ignoring it, and, you know, the same patterns, the same, you know, bullshit rigness. They do it all like this. It's just, what a complete joke.
It is, man. It gets like sicker and more in your face every year, it seems like. I mean, just the Chadwick Boseman.
It's worse than ever, though, right? I mean, isn't it worse than ever?
It is, man.
Like, it couldn't be any more obvious how bad it is. It's just like the times we're in, and they just understand, I guess, that these people know that they can push it this far.
It really, I mean, I got to admit, man, it felt like I got a big nail through a big part of my body the day that nobody saw the Chadwick Boseman thing on Jackie Robinson Day. It's like, this doesn't even make people question things. I mean, come on, man.
No, and then it becomes like, yeah, for you, like, exposing what's so obvious and going on, then you become like this enemy, right? Like, oh, man, you're the hated person. Hey, you ruined it or whatever. Really? Like, it's just like a small child that can't get over the fact that, no, there's not a Santa Claus, okay? I'm sorry I ruined it for you. Get over it.
It's like, yeah, and that's another reminder that we grow up in a society where there's a cultural expectation to lie to your children. Like, if you don't lie to your children about Santa Claus, then you're kind of a bad parent. That's kind of like the society MO. So it's like, is that really right? You should be lying to your child about this stupid story that makes no sense.
It makes sense now, I guess, for why it's this way. But
Conditioned
yeah,
to accept
it needs to be.
lies. Yeah, it's normal to lie.
Why, brother? Well, hey, man, get it next time, man. We're going to get it next time for sure. But
Well,
that
good
was
job
close
on
enough.
hedging tonight. So you still had a good night overall, man. I'm glad to hear that. Nice work.
Yeah, I'm glad I did, man. I'm so glad I did, because in the past maybe I would have just like, I think it, No, I'm so glad I did. Then there's no you don't have to stress out the game even. I wasn't even stressed on it at all.
And that's why, again, that's why I say if you're in the driver's seat in the championship, it's not a bad idea to hedge. The name of the game is staying ahead. And if you leave yourself an opportunity to lose, that's where you're going to get burned sometimes. It's going to hurt. So
I'd probably want just as much or more money hedging at this than riding something all the way out. And I'm talking even with parlays or futures.
Sure.
Because sometimes that's what happens. You just get close, but you just miss.
Yeah.
But you're usually, with this information, you're usually always in a really good opportunity
Right.
to hedge.
Right.
Or at least get back your losses.
Right. Indeed. 100%.
All right, man.
Yeah, have a good night, Al.
I'll talk at you later.
All right, take care.
Hey, thanks, man. Later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, again, Big Al's been following me for years, and he wins with me and loses with me, but he's really good at, calculating his bets and making sure he's covering himself and coming out ahead. And again, that's the name of the game. It comes with experience, comes with sticking with it, figuring out the way to get it done. And again, a lot of people were in the driver's seat to win a lot tonight because we were on Gonzaga before the season began. And that's why I said the day before, I said, God, there are some things here with Baylor. I just don't know, man. I still think it's Gonzaga, but man, it wasn't. And that's why if you hedge with Baylor, you were okay today. What's up, 817?
Hey, how's it going, man? Just appreciate everything you do. Truth in everything you say kind of overrides everybody's opinion when you're always pushing for the little guy and talking about kind of the safety behind everything. It shows compared to the dudes just trying to make a month, helping people win, 2 sports bets or whatever. So just want to say appreciate that. But
thank you. 2
quick things. One, on the mini haha, I never heard of that either. And when you were struggling to type it, I was also doing the same thing. So I noticed that that's a fictitious character created by a poet. And so the school is actually a Christian school, but just named Mini Haha. And the poet who created that character in the first place is the first person to translate Dante's Inferno into English.
Wow.
Which is a very famous Italian poem. So I think we should keep looking at that school for sure, and potentially that very tall high school player that was brought up earlier who goes there. So there's definitely some interesting things there. So that's definitely a Christian school, not anything else. And the other thing about the game tonight, just the whole, during COVID, it's been odd to see anything take over the news bigger than vaccines or the COVID spikes or just all the very single-minded narrative they've been pushing. So it was pretty interesting to see this past week that somebody crashed into the Capitol. And I just thought it was very interesting that if you really reduce that down to a single sentence, you can say a man named Green crashed a blue car into the Capitol. So we have Green crashing blue, which was just one of the only major news stories to hit the news and kind of take a little bit of spotlight away from everything that's been consistent.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Those are some good observations, and that was a whole, yeah, that's kind of how they do it.
Sometimes
good work.
Colors just stand out super easy, and it can be that simple for me to kind of see a pattern whenever they just throw 2 colors or 2 simple things out there. I was looking for what kind of car he drove. Everybody just kept saying blue sedan, and that was clearly the term that was pushed. So just an interesting concept on a simple way to look at some of the things that magically take a spotlight when they should.
Yeah.
Push. Why would they talk about something?
A lot of times it's surface level. That was a great surface level observation. Good work, man.
Awesome. Yeah, really appreciate it. I'll let somebody else jump on. Keep going, man.
You have a good night. Thank you. California, 661.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Welcome.
Yeah, my brother's a full-on basketball fan and baseball fan, long-time Dodgers, UCLA fan for basketball, all that. And I've been showing him this whole time your work, and he knew even without seeing your work, he knew the World Series was rigged. He figured that out. But, he still wants to watch it, hard to break people out of that. But I'll just be real quick. The Waco incident with David Koresh and the Branch Davidians.
Right.
That happened like 28 years ago.
Wasn't that in '93? God, that was in '93.
Yes, and your caller that just mentioned Dante's Inferno. That's pretty interesting, and the fire kind of stuff. So I'll let it go. I just wanted to bring that up real quick and just say thanks for the work.
Yeah, really. I should have thought of that before the whole '93 thing. Yeah, great thought, man. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, have a good night. Thank you.
See you. Caller?
Hey, one has to be patient to get on this show.
Yeah, or persistent too. Patient and persistent, or lucky.
Yeah. Yes. And speaking of luck, Zach, I followed your work, and people who want to talk bad about got it wrong or whatever. I mean, Gematria or no Gematria. Wouldn't you say it's like 50% anyway, like whether you get it wrong or not? Or no?
What's that?
Like, people think, oh, you got it wrong, but it's like a 50-50 chance, you know what I mean? But,
well, what's a 50-50 chance?
Wrong,
I'm confused by that statement.
Who wins a game, since like there's only two teams?
Well, if you go into a sports blind and you're assuming, I mean, in a way there's a 50-50 chance. Usually there's a favorite, and usually the favorite wins more often than not, but not always. But yeah, and again, I just remind people, it's like, but that's not really how we're doing. I mean, we said Gonzaga before the season began would win the championship. They made it to the championship, they just didn't win it. So, I mean, just to be correct, it's just like when Gonzaga was in the Sweet 16, ESPN put up the stat that they had 32% odds to win the championship, already had made it to the Sweet 16. So, I mean, you go to the odds from the beginning of the season, it's a lot smaller than that. So, I mean, again, we didn't get it right in the end, but we weren't far off with our original thought. So.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, you follow it like no one else. I'm like you. I don't watch any college basketball. I don't watch the NBA anymore ever since Kobe died, because that's when I kind of woke up, because I found you, and I was like, yeah, this isn't real. Like, this is the WWE, and so thanks for that. And I called in a long time ago to say, like, oh, Kobe Bryant is like a super match, like 4 out of 4, with the word secret plan. My name's Alan. I called a long time
I remember
ago.
that. Yeah, I remember that.
I called back because Gematria, it's the name of the game, right? Gematria equals 74 in ordinal. Elgin Baylor died, and his name equals 47.
Like Indiana.
So does the word legend.
Legend. Right.
He's a legend, and it kind of sounds the same. Elgin, legend,
True.
and the word, simple equals 74, right? That's the name of the game, and that equals 74. And I've been noticing. I've been trying to keep things simple, because it can get, you can just dive down the rabbit hole, if you will, and it gets pretty complex. But sometimes I try to look at it as simple as possible, because I still know, like, this is part of it. And when Tiger Woods got into that accident, like, somebody texted me, he's like, hey, Tiger Woods, man. And I was like, immediately I read the text, and I see, his initials. Initial in ordinal equals 74. And it's like TW 2023. He's on the news on 2/23. He even wears it on his hat. The T and the W.
That's a good point about the 223. And again, that was the 54th day of the year, and Jesuit order is 54, and Tiger Woods is 54 forwards and backwards. So it's like, what a day for Tiger Woods in the news. And I'll remind people that was 135 days before the start of the NBA Finals, and happened in LA. But
And so to tie that into what happened today, I just wanted to call back for the second time ever and just say that I was watching the game, and I was like, well, looks like Baylor's going to win, but who knows? And I was like, I always pay attention to the initials. Maybe it's just me, but I see it's like BU. That's what, like, they're wearing on their mask. That's what it says in, like, the little corner emblem for the scores.
and it's like BU, 221, and here we are in the year 221.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
And
that's true. That's true.
And not only that, and sometimes it's a little tricky, this stuff, and I type in tricky and an ordinal. This is just a coincidence, but tricky equals 86, just like how it won with 86.
Funny.
All that. But yeah, that's it. That's it.
Well, I really like your thought on BU
I
because you're right. 2021. It's just like Cleveland won the NBA Finals in 2016, and they're the 216 area code, and that's why I really like Cleveland to win it in 2016. That's the year they came back and won on the real King James's birthday. But yeah, you're right. A lot of times it's the most simple thing, and I thought I was doing that because I was like, okay, come on, first perfect season in 45 years on 4-5 over the Bears. 45. That seems right to me, but apparently it was not. So.
Yeah, no. But yeah, just simple equals 74, initial equals 74. So I look for that.
Yeah.
And I'll always leave a comment.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Keep up the great work. You're doing a good job. Thank you.
Hey, no, thank you.
All right. Take care, man. See you. 719, you might be the last call tonight. 719, what's up? Oh, he hung up. That can't be the last call. We can't have somebody just hanging up as the last call. But, well, he's calling back. We'll try take two. 719?
No way.
Yeah, it's you.
Zach, what's up, man?
What's up? How you doing?
Oh, good. How are you doing tonight?
Well, again, I'm doing all right, man, but I'd be better if my team won, so.
Yeah. Fortunately, that didn't happen, but so dude, I don't know if you remember, I was the one who sent you $9 on VenMo, I think a couple days ago, and man, I just wanted to say, like, I have so many ideas, like numeral. I just started getting into you. I've been recovering from just my life. I mean, I'm 20 years old, but I went through some personal things. I found your channel along the way, and I just wanted to say I appreciate you so much and your content, just truth-seeking, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's out here doing this, and for you to lead the way, it's just really inspiring to me. And you've actually inspired me to create my own videos, and so I'm gonna start putting those out soon, with all your teachings and stuff. I'm reading your book right now, letters, numbers, and words.
Very cool. Hey, I just want to say, man, just remember, life, what doesn't kill you really does make you stronger, and I'm sure all the tough things you've gone through, they're probably a big part of the reason you're awake and like even inquisitive about things. So all things are a gift and a curse. And I just remember when I was 20, I was probably like in the darkest days of my life because that was 2 years after 9/11. I was like 2 years of trying to wake people up and just getting nothing but names called. I was like, what's wrong with everybody? But anyway, I mean, in the end, it was good for me because it made me tough and just not really care so much about what other people think. And had none of that happened, none of this would have happened. So just keep on the path, man. It's a gift and a curse to be awake, and sorry you've gone through some tough things, but I know it'll be good in the long run. So.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It's just, it really sucks, man. Like you said, we live in a world of ignorance right now. It's just pure ignorance. You know what I mean? Like I said, dude, we have supercomputers right in front of our face. These little computers. You know what I mean? And people still can't figure stuff out. It sucks. And honestly, I feel bad. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to help people more than anything. And so,
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. You can't help people unless they want to be helped. And you realize, even though a lot of people are miserable and on antidepressants and not happy really about anything, somehow they're still content enough because they're fed and they got some entertainment and maybe life's not that hard really. But yeah, a lot of people just don't want the help yet. They don't see what time it is. They need to wake up. But when it's too late, that's probably when they're going to be looking for answers. So.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, dude. I'm like, it's just. We're already at this point, like you said, you were like telling people that we're going to continue to lose our freedoms if we allow this to go on. And it's like, it just blows my mind how everybody's so focused on politics and sports when it's all just a lie. We live in a world full of professional liars.
We do, man. We really do. And, I'm just going to keep trying to wake people up because I don't know what else to do, honestly, man. I mean, we got to wake people up. Otherwise, we're going off the cliff eventually. I don't know if that's 100 years away or, 10 months away or what it is. But if we don't wake people up, we're going to get there. So.
Yeah, man, definitely.
But hey, but stay in there, man. Hang in there.
To...
Chin up. Trust me. All this bad shit you're going through, it's eventually going to pay dividends, man. So. And I can already hear it just in the call. And you speak with confidence in the phone. So it all sounds good to me over here.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Like I said, about 6 months ago is when things really started to change for me, and actually started to become happy. So I found you when I was in that dark place. So, like I said, just having you, you know what I mean? People go to stuff like content, like videos, to avoid their problems, and fortunately, you were there when I needed to avoid some of my own problems. So just thank you for that. And like I said, you inspired me to want to create videos. So
where's your YouTube channel? What's the channel?
So it's gonna be called Brain in Chains. That's
Brain in Chains, like Alice in Chains. Okay, I like that channel name.
Yeah.
People are, yeah, that's a good name. Brain in Chains, but it doesn't sound like it's been created yet. But I'll be looking for it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I haven't started on YouTube. I'm going to focus mainly on TikTok first, just because a lot of people on TikTok seem to be wanting to be awakened, seem to be wanting to just, you know what I mean? People are digging, you know what I mean? And it's just, they're so focused on, witchcraft, astrology, spirituality, religion, you know what I mean? And I'm like, the numbers.
Right.
I'm like, dude, they tell a story. Like, it just sucks, man. Like I said, the sleeping sheeple.
Indeed. Yeah. We'll stay on the path, man. You're gonna do good for the world. You're gonna wake up a bunch of people if you stick with it, man. Yeah.
And if you're in the next 2 months, if your book sales skyrocket, maybe toss.
I haven't seen any evidence of that happen. I wish. I'll keep my fingers crossed. I haven't seen any evidence though. So.
Hey man, I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna push it out. If you're okay with this, I was gonna make videos just running down each chapter.
Anyone's welcome to share any of my work. I'm grateful for anyone who shares my work. You don't have to ask me. Anyone can share anything I've ever done. So thank you. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, just straight from the source. Had to get it from you. So
yeah.
Thank you, man. You really inspired me. Thank you for answering this call. It's crazy that I even got in here, but.
All right, man. We'll keep being you, man. Have a good night. You take care.
Thanks, man. You too.
See you. All right, Miami. I'm going to do one more call. What's up, Miami?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. What's going on?
Hey, man. It's been a while. Since I've been on here.
Oh, this sounds like truth does not exist. What's up?
Yeah, did you ever get my letter?
Do you mean the one that you wrote on an overhead?
What's an overhead?
You wrote it. I thought that's what it was, and I was like, does he even know what an overhead is? Back for all the people my age, like all you younger people will not even know what I'm talking about. But back in the day, you'd pull down the thing in the front of the classroom, and then you'd bring up the overhead projector, and you wrote on this clear thing, and you could wipe it off, but it would make the words show up on the screen, so the whole class could read essentially what you were writing on something the size of a piece of paper. This is before all computers and all this stuff. But, yeah, you wrote a thing on like a clear plastic sheet, which was like an overhead that you used back in the day. That's not what it was?
It was like a calcium acetate sheet. They use it for, for projectors. Yeah, they use it for the projectors, and I had a piece lying around. I mean, they still make them, but I had a piece, and I just wrote it on there.
I thought, how original. I said I'd never seen anybody wite a letter on something like this. So, yeah, I definitely got your letter. It cracked me up. Why? What's going on?
So I found a news story about the masks, and one of my friends, like a long time ago, he moved recently, or not recently, but anyways, he said that they might be putting chemicals inside the masks to make people sick. This was like in May or something. So I found this article. It's called "Exclusive: Chemical Cocktail Found in Face Masks," and so basically they go like over a list of chemicals that are inside the face mask, and all like dangerous chemicals like what was one of them, formaldehyde, and a lot of the microplastics inside there you're not supposed to breathe into your lungs. and so it can cause like long-term lung damage. And oh man, I'm out of breath. And so, anyways, I was thinking like it kind of makes sense that a lot of the people that check into the hospital for all these symptoms are actually from the masks, because people wearing the thing all day and stuff, you know, that could easily, especially with the surgical ones, but also the cotton ones can be dangerous too.
Right.
But anyways, the dust that comes off of them, you're not supposed to breathe in, and it can cause lung damage, and it can cause, you know, if you get it inside your lungs and your body sees it as a threat, then it can fill your liquids with your lung with liquid, and then in the hospital they put people they put them upright, and they're not supposed to. You're supposed to put people laying down. No, they put people laying down when they have liquid in their lungs, and when you do that, the liquid can't drain out of your lungs. You're supposed to put people like sitting up.
I see.
But yeah, and I saw you got deleted. So I figured out a little something with YouTube. So remember back when you had Zachary K. Hubbard as your main YouTube channel, and YouTube was just like annihilating that name like completely?
Right.
So what I think happens is that like GematriaEffectNews is now like, and I think that's happened to it basically. So like I think that maybe we should like find a new name, and then just make one channel that's that name, and like try have a bunch of channels with a bunch of different names, and then basically, you know, they can delete 20 channels or something like that, you know.
Sure. Yeah, that's a thought.
And another suggestion, do you ever on the signs that you have, do you have one with your channel on it?
Oh, well, I haven't really been promoting my work on the street. I've just been trying to see how many people will respond to a message.
So maybe if you put your channel name on one of the signs, you know, like maybe just as an experiment or whatever, you know, I think that could also help a lot too, because then people can would just see the signs and say like, oh, well, this guy doesn't really know what he's talking about. But then if they actually look it up and they see the work, and they'll be like, oh wow, you know, see all the hurricanes and stuff.
Oh, here, I'll tell you something that's funny.
You know,
So I've been doing this for so long, telling people to research Event 201. What was funny is it was Saturday, there was a car that was like 3 young Hispanic dudes. They pulled up and they rolled down the window like, hey, we researched Event 201, man. That is crazy. Thanks for telling us about that. And I was like, you know what's funny is you are the first car who's come back and rolled down their windows and told me that you researched what I've been asking people to research for a week. So I'm just thinking, God, how many thousands of cars? And it doesn't mean that other people haven't researched it, but they were the first ones that drove back and rolled down the windows and told me that they were appreciative that I told them to look into that. So
that's pretty cool.
I wish more people had done that, though. Then it'd be even cooler. But yeah, it was nice to just hear it from those young guys. So.
Yeah, I think that the reason why they don't like you protesting, or people protesting in general, is because, like, think about our viewership on YouTube. Practically nobody ever sees our videos, but if you go like on the street, in a busy street on a corner, practically everybody in the city is going to see you, and you know, you're going to have a whole town that can become aware. And so I think that kind of becomes dangerous for them. I think that that's why they hate it so much, really.
Yeah, they've taken down a bunch of the on the street videos, which is pretty weak. So, but hey,
yeah,
man.
and then you know.
Go ahead. I just got. I told Sweet Lay I wouldn't go this late, and I've gone past my deadline again, so I got to get off here pretty soon. But I'll let you close us out. What else?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Are you subscribed to my channel, or did they unsubscribe you yet?
You know, now that you say that, I don't remember any notifications from your channel a long time, so I bet I was unsubscribed. Let me see.
Yeah, because I did make a video the other day. Yeah, if any sweet ladies are interested, they can go to my Sweet or Fine Truth, and that's pretty much all I had to say.
All right, man. You're going to find her. All right, have a good night, buddy.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, good night.
Yeah, see you, man. Okay. Oh, God, I really got to get off, man. Yeah, I got to get off. Sorry, I can't take any more calls. I went overtime. But, again, for people who lost on Gonzaga tonight, on my advice, I apologize. Again, I'm not trying to lead you guys to bad results, but I mean, if you're on Patreon and you took my advice and you were in the driver's seat tonight with Gonzaga, I said I'd think about a hedge on Baylor, and it is true. In our last live stream, we said, Baylor to cover looked like the smart call, because I thought Gonzaga might win 73-71 tonight. 2-point game. They were a 4.5-point favorite. And the other number I was looking out for, though, was 86. Because the thing besides Elgin Baylor dying at 86 was that when Indiana went perfect 32-0 45 years ago, they won with 86 points. Now Baylor wins with 86, protecting Indiana's record from 45 years ago. But again, the under and Baylor covering were both calls that we had today. So, I mean, that's not wrong. I mean, we were right about that. Had you taken that advice, you did just fine tonight. But again, for all the people who were so close on their future with Gonzaga, again, you guys, I'm sorry. I bid it. In some ways, it's like, yeah, man, I kind of did let the media persuade me with their narrative, but it really felt right with all the Jesuit stuff. So they were there. They just weren't the winner. And all in all, it's been a minute since we didn't win and weren't right on our future, man. So, I mean, I don't feel too bad. It's been a long time since we had to say, shit, we were wrong about our future, but it's just so much more fun being right, as we all know. So, again, hope you guys did all right. And remember, never gamble what you can't afford to lose. And if gambling is stressful for you and the losing is just too much, you shouldn't gamble, man. Just gambling should never be your thing. Gambling should be something that's fun, and hopefully you win more than you lose, which we normally do in our community. So, but again, I never advocate betting the house. I always advocate, if you do get in a situation like today, if you got a narrative there, if there's a glimmer of light for Baylor, man, you probably want to plug that hole and hedge there a little bit just in case. And if you did that, well, you were all right today. But yeah, I still want a Gonzaga. It would have been a lot easier to see. Well, you know what's funny? I can still go to Gonzaga, but yeah, I can still go to Gonzaga and do the same thing. You know what? I'm still going to go to Gonzaga and do the same thing, even though they lost, because there's still a lot to explain. And I just want to survey the Gonzaga students if they think it's a coincidence that they lost in the championship and Baylor scored 86 right after Elgin Baylor died at 86, who went to the other Jesuit school in Washington State. And what I can show him is just how he went to Seattle U, and Seattle's 82, and Baylor University's 82, and this was the 82nd tournament. And then if, the conversation strikes up from there, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to check the weather for Gonzaga this weekend. If Gonzaga's weather's good this weekend, I'm going to go to Gonzaga this weekend and do it. How do they feel? So for all my people in Spokane, I'm trying to think what the better day is to do it, Saturday or Sunday. I'll look at the weather. If one day they might both have good weather. But I am going to go to Spokane this weekend and still talk to the students. It would have been more fun for them had Gonzaga won, but then they might have been annoyed that I was showing them like the ritual of 45 years that they won. But still, I mean, the same topic is still there to talk about. Do you think these games could be rigged? Do you think it's a coincidence that Elgin Baylor died at 86? And then I'll show them also. I'll show them that on the 86th day of the year, Baylor beat Villanova, dropping them to 18-7 after Elgin Baylor died 187 days after his birthday. So I will keep you posted. Here, you know what? Let me check right now. You can't necessarily trust the forecast this many days out, but let me see. Spokane, Washington weather. Here, 10-day forecast. We're looking at this Saturday and Sunday. We're going to see what that looks like. Let's see. If Friday's the killer day, I'll go there on Friday. Let's see. Friday's 56 degrees. Funny. Damn, Saturday's 47. Spokane's weather. Sunday's got the best day. Sunday's mostly sunny. I think I'm going to go there sunny, you guys. I'll pay attention to the forecast. I'm going to pay attention to this forecast. And whatever day looks like the best day, right now it looks like Sunday. But as we get closer, like if it ends up being Saturday's the sunny day and somehow the rain moves in on Sunday, then I'll switch it up to Saturday. But I'll let you know in advance. For the people in Spokane, I'm going to be there. If there's any ZEG students watching, we talked to a lot of ZEG. I was there September 27th at Gonzaga talking to them about things. And all the kids on campus quizzed me that night for Sunday Night Football. They said, okay, Packers at Saints, who wins? I said, Packers win tonight. Aaron Rodgers is getting his 126th win. New Orleans 126, exactly what he did. And, but yeah, we'll go back and talk about Elgin Baylor. Is it a coincidence the man is dead at 86 and Baylor beats him in the championship with 86 when the last time this scenario came up was 45 years ago with Indiana, and the game's on 4-5, and Indiana won that game with 86 too, which is also interesting. So, all right. Again, we'll leave it there, you guys. Have a great rest of your night. I see Bobby's in the chat. Bobby, I hope you can meet me this weekend because Bobby's in Spokane. Then I know I'll have at least one other. But, yeah, Saturday or Sunday probably, unless all of a sudden Friday turns into the beautiful day. Then I'd do it Friday, but, you know, we'll get it figured out. So I'm going to keep an eye on the forecast. Best day is the day we go. It's like a 3.5 hour drive or so for me each way. So it's like 7 hours round trip. But I'll take off early in the morning, leave at nighttime. So we'll make it happen. And just also one more thing, you guys. Because of all the censorship, I've had to launch a few more channels. I got to show you guys something weird. So today, if you guys haven't been following, I've been doing this thing, just pounding pavement on the corner, seeing who cares about what. And it was last week, a dude rolled up and he said he was in town on business. And he said he was going to come back another day and he was hoping I'd get a drink with him. So tonight I took him out and got him a beer because he stopped by again while I was on the corner. And then I drove him back to his hotel, and he told me what was messed up this morning is right outside his hotel there was a dead body on the ground because there was a shooting outside the hotel. Yakima, where I am in Washington, it's a small town, but there's a lot of homicides here because there's a lot of drug trafficking in the cartels here, and again, all of it's connected to the... You know, and again, the only reason there's all these murders associated with drugs is because of the policies. Here, I'll just play the video of what I just said, but here, I just want you to see what was so weird about this. But I'm uploading videos like this on this channel, Zachary on the Corner. I'm just going to play the exact video that I recorded earlier today. And I talked to a cop just before I did the video because he was close by, and I could tell that he could tell that I the same dude hooked me up with a little bit of a joint, so I could tell that the cop could tell that I was blazed, and he was looking at me all funny. He probably hates weed, but he probably used to work with the DEA and raid people's house. But anyway, I was just talking to him about it. He didn't have a lot of information. He didn't really share anything. But then I walked up to look at the crime scene, and just look at this, you guys. This whole thing is a trip. I got to close out with this. Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Monday, April 5th, 2021, and the cherry blossoms are out. And sadly, in the city of Yakima, Washington, there's another homicide. And see something here real quick. Can you see the number right on top of the box? That's where the shooting happened. There was a homicide here reportedly. And just notice it's number 38, you know, on the spot where the killing happened. And again, you know what that number 38 means, which is really interesting. Sometimes there's an organic synchronicity. Okay, in case you don't know what 38 means, oh shit, I'm showing this on the wrong thing, aren't I? You guys can't even see what I'm showing. Okay, first of all, let me make sure you guys can see this. Okay, let me zoom this in further. But again, there, you can see it. So, here, I'll go back to the video. But again, this is today in Yakima. I dropped him off at the hotel, and he told me how at the beginning of the day, there was a homicide right outside the hotel. So, but again, I just wanted you to listen to what I said, because this is really what matters. It used to be. But, the thing about Yakima, Washington is there's a lot of drug activity here because it's the middle of the state. Oh, and hold on. Before I go any further, I forgot to say what 38, because again, there's a 38 on the spot next to where he died. Death is 38. Remember, murder's 38. RIP is 38. Killing is 38. Again, just we always see this number associated with death and the movie poster for Murder by Numbers, the movie poster. So I'm just like, what in the world, man? They got the three. Is like, is this organic or is this like, God, this is creepy? But I just don't even know what to make of all of it. Oh man, it's a trip though, man. But it's sad too. But here, aside from the numbers, the point I'm about to make is why these kind of deaths really happen. It's because of bad policy. And if you look, there's a lot of homicides here per capita in Yakima, and again, most of them are connected to drugs. And I just want to remind people, the reason there's so many drug-related homicides is because, you know, you don't want to get in trouble when it comes to drugs. You can spend a lot of years in prison, so people will kill because of that for a lot of different reasons. And I mean, again, you just see the consequences of the policies. And I want to remind people, the police who investigate, they're the policy enforcers. That's where the word police comes from. And you think about the politicians, they enforce the policies of the politicians. Policy, police, politician, policy. Again, the language. The problem is we got bad policies. If drugs were not illegal, and instead we treated people who were addicts, there'd be way less homicides, and people would have to spend way less time in their lives investigating murders and starting to look at everybody like they're homicidal. So again, police policies. And by the way, I made that comment right there because in the back of my mind was the way the police officer was just staring at me as I was talking to him, asking him reasonable questions. I could just tell that he noticed that my eyes, because I mean, if you smoke, you know, your eyes get a little bit red and maybe a little bit more liquid. But, you know, I was asking him questions, but I could tell he was just looking at me a certain way, like, I'm pretty sure this guy's high. But I wanted to know. He couldn't tell me anything about this scene. I was just trying to get some information, but he's just saying, ongoing investigation. And then when I saw the 38 on there, I was like, because again, the guy who saw this morning, he came out and there was a cloth over a body in the street. What would be really frustrating, there are a lot of homicides in this town. This is nothing new in here, but what if at the same time it's like, what if they even like up that number just to make it worse, to sell the fear, to remind you why you need government and Big Brother and police? It's like, what if they even doing? I don't know, man. But just the whole 38 thing, when I looked at it, I was like, seriously? Because I asked the guy, I said, where did it happen? And he said that close to where this setup is. And I just noticed the closest number, because this number trail goes all the way out here, but it counts right up to 38. And I was like, unreal, man. Unreal. Politicians, so important. If we had a society of people who understood that we need treatment for addicts, not incarceration. And again, making drugs illegal makes them profitable. That's why there's big money in doing illegal activity, because there's all this risk. But, yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it there. You can listen to the rest of the video. It's on Zachary on the Corner, just more out and about. And, but yeah, life is strange, man. I wouldn't even have known about this had I not ran into the dude and took him back to the hotel. And again, I just decided, after I dropped him off, I was like, I just gotta walk down and just look at the scene. And I just couldn't believe it. I said, oh my God, are my eyes deceiving me? Is that a 38? I had to take out my camera and zoom in the camera. I was like, oh my God, it is 38. So, oh man, getting old here. My eyes don't work as well either. But we will leave it for there. We'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. And again, have a good rest of your night, good rest of your day, depending on where you are in the world. And until next time.